Get the program going in 3, 2, 1. What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. Wanted to come on here and talk to the folks Saturday show style because I'm sitting around. I keep my ear to the ground. Certainly tune in to quite a bit of news media. And the more you tune in to what's going on, the audience apparently has the belief, talking about the voting public, that liberals are soft on crime, Republicans are tougher on crime. Therefore, if you're in a Republican area, you are likely to be in an area where there's simply less crime, because crime in liberal cities is apparently a huge problem. So you see, today we're going to be talking about it from that simple aspect. Could re-electing Trump bring down crime? Make no mistake about it, the Republican Party is yelling to the heavens that crime is on the rise under a liberal administration like Joe Biden. And if you elect a Republican president, namely Trump, crime would likely come down. So what we're going to be asking is that simple question: could Trump bring down crime? Now, a lot of us are fearful, particularly with what's going on at the border. They're making it out like, 10 million illegals 10 million migrants under Biden, and most of them are a danger to our society. That's, for the most part, the belief, the message that's being dealt. Perhaps in that case, Trump could bring down crime significantly if you're under the impression that most of them are committing crime. So we're going to be talking about that. A smaller sidebar I'd like to discuss with you folks that I'm real curious to hear about. Most of us, the politically astute version of us, the folks who are watching politics, that viewed the State of the Union address. You may have seen a gentleman in the back shouting out something that actually interrupted the president. Now, I want to get out my notes because I want to actually read to you what he shouted out, just in case you had not heard it clearly. It was a really loud shouting, and it interrupted Biden. For a quick second, the camera panned back to the gentleman that was shouting out, and you see him escorted out. He yelled Abbeygate, and he also yelled United States Marines. He was referencing the botched evacuation that took place under the Biden administration in Afghanistan, when 13 service personnel were killed and a heap of local individuals in that suicide bombing when we were evacuating. The last of us were leaving Afghanistan. Happened under the Biden administration. He took a lot of flack for that. Now, that was right after Biden made this following quote: "America is safer today than when I took office." So I'm asking, do you feel like America under the Biden administration is safer than it was perhaps under Trump? Because Biden suggested we're safer today than we were before he took office. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Can Trump bring down crime? And do you feel safer under President Biden? Last but not least, have we lost decorum, folks? Have we lost our freaking mind? Something that our parents may say to us if you get out in public and you act a fool. The gentleman that yelled this out at the State of the Union address, he was arrested and charged for that. Apparently, the Secret Service or whoever was providing law enforcement during the State of the Union address, the guy started yelling this out. He was asked to stop. He did not stop. They not only escorted him out, they placed him under arrest, and he's been charged. What do you think? Do you think it's worthy, or do you think that was free speech? Do you think you should be able to yell out something at a State of the Union address if you're passionate about it, you truly believe it's an issue, and face no recourse? Because some folks are saying it's wrong that he was charged for yelling out, and then it should be covered by free speech. So those are what we're going to be talking about today. As always, you know the program is and shall forever remain MAGA friendly. MAGA are always my preferred guest, always has been, always will be. But liberals are welcome as well. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone for their commentary. Understand whether you're in the box or in the comment section. If you disagree with anyone else, including the host, no one gives a damn. It's all about free speech here. So, looking in the comments, the man lost both of his sons by Biden's hands. That is the way it looks. That the botched evacuation falls on President Biden. Even Biden stated himself, the buck stops with me, which is a bit unusual. You don't normally hear a president come out and say, listen, it's my fault, the buck stops. They don't normally do that. They normally blame somebody else. But I do get the point. The man lost loved ones in that botched evacuation. Should he be allowed to yell anything he wants out? That's what we're talking about. Get a life. A woman, family, read a book, plant a tree, give and share, visit a sick person, says Nightingale. Good advice, good advice. Children act better than that. Rudolph Jackson, yeah. So, what do you think? Have we now remember, Nancy Pelosi, and I'll go right to the box. Nancy Pelosi ripping up Trump's speech, clapping at him. For you folks who may have seen the State of the Union address, Nancy Pelosi behind Trump when she was still the Speaker of the House. Obviously, Marjorie Taylor Greene is literally trafficking in disruption. That's what she does for a living, apparently. I don't know what she's actually doing as a congresswoman for her constituents, but she traffics in disruption. Are we okay with this stuff? We can talk about Nancy Pelosi ripping up the speech. We can talk about Marjorie Taylor Greene. Hell, we can go all the way back to the guy yelling out at Obama, you lie. Is this acceptable? Is this the new norm at this point? Is it done more by liberals or perhaps more by conservatives? Going straight to the box, and I do appreciate you folks tuning in on a Saturday. Different type of show, different type of weekend. Tap the screen, get your boy on up to 5,700 of you folks in here on a Saturday. Wow, you could be anywhere you want. I'm glad you're here with me. Thank you. Rainy Kane, good afternoon. Trump for prison 2024. Put the K, says Grim Reaper. Yikes. Good afternoon, Rainy.
Good afternoon.
Hey. So have we lost common decency?
I think so. I think we are, especially in our Congress. I think it's just done. I think the gentleman, the father who was arrested, they tell the invited guests that they can't protest. They can't. They tell you before you walk in there. There were some parents who were there. There were hostages over in Gaza right now, and they wanted to wear a certain shirt, and they weren't able to wear it.
Right.
And Marjorie Taylor Greene pretty much did what the fuck she wanted. I guess she got a fine. But I think it's important. Like, the president is speaking right now. You can protest him any other time, but the State of the Union, where the entire world is watching, like, please show some decorum. So, I mean... So
would you agree... So if you were Biden or you were, head of the security there that day, would you have charged him with a crime or would you have just escorted him out?
Absolutely, I would have charged him. To me, they don't need to know he's a veteran or he's a, what do you call it, 5-star family. They don't need to know that. All they know is you interrupted unnecessarily while the president was speaking. Yeah. And you are a part of Congress. You are an invited guest.
But what about having pity for him, considering what he has went through? He did lose loved ones in that evacuation.
I'm not understanding what pity do you want me to have?
Well, the guy is angry that his loved ones were lost in an evacuation that could have been preventable, and he wants to express his anger at the State of the Union address of all places. But he did lose some loved ones.
I'm assuming this. I thought the president met with all the family members, so I'm assuming they already told him how they felt. So I guess if this was just your opportunity to say something else or to bring up Abbygate, and I heard after the fact he was more angry because nobody talks about what happened 4 years later. And it's like, we're not going to keep rehashing the
Yeah.
horrible scenario. You know how many people we lose in wars? We're not going to keep talking about that. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's
But I
kind
guess
of like,
if it's your child, you want your child to be mentioned every major thing, I suppose. I guess I
yeah.
could go for that if that's what you felt. But again, I'll just be easy on that. I have no. I don't know what your question is.
No, you're saying it. You're saying it well. In other words, I have no sympathy for the guy in terms of what he's doing. I mean, you lost somebody, as you state. That's kind of part and parcel. You sign up for the military, particularly during wartime, which obviously his relative would have had to do because the Afghanistan war has been going on for quite a while. At that point, they were leaving it, by the way. So, getting killed is kind of what can happen.
And I guess that's where I'm, and this whole blame Joe Biden is crazy. He was blown up by a suicide bomber.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Could the withdrawal been better? Sure. But they told us beforehand the most dangerous part of war is leaving. Yeah. And so if we live in that premise, I feel like it's unfortunate. It's a horrible thing that happened. It was horrible. But anyway, I know you got other guests. I just wanted to say, and before I forget, you mentioned Nancy Pelosi. She waited until after his speech was done. I at least give her the respect. She didn't tear the shit up while the man was on stage talking.
Yeah, but come on now. You're tearing up a historical document. That speech is something that is a historical. I mean, even though it happened after he was done speaking, clearly it's caught on camera. It's done right away while they're still applauding the guy. You giving her a pass?
I give her a pass.
We already know, Randy. All right, I appreciate you coming on. Yeah, anytime. All right, giving Nancy Pelosi a pass. Yes. All right, look at it in the comments. And I see in the comments, user 860 says me too. It wasn't an historical document. It was just a copy of the document. It's still historical. I mean, just like if you go to a game or something like that, and you got a ticket or whatever at the Super Bowl. Yeah. I mean, it's the speech. How many State of the Union address speeches, or even copies of it, that has been once held by the Speaker of the House is floating around? It's a historical document. I'm assuming it probably even had her name on it. You know, you're getting your hands on classified information. They send it out to you. They send it out to the VP. Yeah, it's a historical document. Looking in the comments, real quick, they are signed by each recipient. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Now, I see someone says you can download it online. Yes, but this is Nancy Pelosi's copy. A copy that was deliberately meant for the Speaker of the House. No historical context to that at all. Huh? Okay, all right. Real quick, so because of Pelosi's action, you think it's right for Marjorie Taylor Greene to interrupt by talking? That's the point we're trying to make. Have we lost decorum, whereas a president can no longer speak at an organized event without other politicians acting an ass? That's what we're not giving anyone a pass. We're actually presenting a question. That's what we're talking about. Appreciate you folks that are tapping the screen. I'm going right back to the box. 15,000 likes if that's possible. Show your boy some love. Same thing on YouTube. Run a simulcast on YouTube. Smash that like button. Real quick, OG Party Animal. Okay, so I'm assuming someone with a name like Party Animal might be okay with interrupting the speech. Good afternoon. Party Animal, are you with me? Okay, perhaps not. All right, moving the program on. So because of Pelosi, okay, I've seen that already. Real quick, they don't deserve our respect. They haven't earned it. All they've done is destroyed us. Look at our something coming from the white Filipino. That's a hell of a name. You think we're destroyed? You said they haven't earned our respect. Referencing the politicians, I assume. I'm assuming maybe you're talking about Biden or maybe you're talking about Trump, but you said all they have done is destroyed us. You think we are destroyed at this day and age? How? How so? Destroyed? That's strong language. Hot Rod, good afternoon. Welcome to the program. We're having a little trouble with the box as usual. Trump opened a floodgate to vile behavior. How many of you folks think that? By way of yes or no, Trump opened a floodgate to vile behavior. Did it happen before Trump? Is Trump predominantly responsible for it, or did it start happening during the Biden administration? How many of you folks believe that Trump himself opened a floodgate to vile behavior? Jinx with the money gun, thank you. Hot Rod, good afternoon. What say you?
I mean, there's a number of things you mentioned already that concerns me. One being that I'm a former veteran as well, or I'm a current veteran and a former active duty soldier. One of the things that we understand that there's risk, and understanding that there's risk, our loved ones have to also take on that risk. So yes, we are put in harm's way, but guess what? We're given benefits and a decent salary to do so.
Yeah.
And we do it in the name of America. So if so happen we end up falling during that time, that's part of the job. It's like being a cook and not wanting to be burned. I mean, it's like you can't do it. I was an airborne paratrooper as well. When I took that chute and put it on, someone else packed it.
Yeah.
I had to take on that risk that maybe that person took the time and care to pack my chute, and I still had to jump with it whether they did or didn't.
Damn, I never thought of it that way.
Yes, there's some risk that's taken. Understanding this historical document thing, I understand what you're saying. I'm a part of an organization that have a time and place guide that wants you to act with decorum. I think you hit it on the head with that. There's decorum that you should have and always maintain. But we are human at times. We are emotional, so that sometimes happens.
But wait, let me interrupt you and ask, do you see the lack of decorum if we're losing decorum in this country, in your opinion? Do you see Trump having anything to do with that? Was it already happening before Trump, or do you see Trump?
I think it opened up the gates to do so. I think the reason why Trump is so popular, it allowed those who felt and acted that way to see an example and say, that's exactly the way I feel, and he's doing it, and he's saying it, and I agree with him.
So, but let me present it to you, because we're on YouTube as well. Craig on YouTube says, Tim, now he's talking about me, but he's saying Tim must have not seen the journalist treatment of Trump for 4 straight years. Now, he suggested that, listen, you're saying that Trump opened up the floodgates, but Trump himself was being constantly beaten and battered, perhaps to the point where he had to speak out in self-defense. Do you see where Trump, maybe what Trump was doing was not necessarily being a bully or being a narcissist, but acting out of self-defense?
I guess that's going to be perspective, and I don't see Trump ever being beaten or battered or anything. I think a lot of times it's reaction. For that reaction, there's a reaction. And sometimes a lot of that occurs is due to a reaction.
Yeah.
From the time he mentioned it was banter. I've been in many locker rooms, and that's never been talked about, grabbing someone's by the crotch.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of times it's a reaction.
Yeah.
You know, some people are, reacting to some things that they're responding to. A lot of people still haven't gotten over that statement, So it's a lot of things that he's done and said. It's just a reaction to the things he's done and said. So
what you're saying is that, yeah, he takes a lot of flack, but it's not flack that came from out of nowhere. It's him acting in such a way that's causing people to react to him that way.
In a lot of cases, not all cases, of course. Some people just don't like some people, obviously, but I think a lot of it, though, when it comes to American presidents, they tend to give them the benefit of the doubt, being that we're an American and we have a president, and that's just the way we handle our democracy, in a sense. I mean, the peaceful transfer of power has been that way for years, and guess who changed that?
Well, let me present this. I do have to move with him. Before I do on you, Brandon Talk says, if what you're saying is true, why did they wait until he was president? In other words, before Trump became president, he was widely favored, even by minorities, blacks, you name it. All of a sudden, he becomes president, and he's public enemy number one. What happened?
Well, you hold the highest office in the land. You now things change. It's like when you're a part of the group, you're a part of the group. I mean, you act like the group and you're okay, it's fine. But once you ascend to a particular position, things change. You should change. You should be a different level of being, and unfortunately it's inherited. I mean, it's not like you know, if you don't want that, then don't run for that office. But it's just like anything else. When you become the head, now all the eyes are looking at you, and you're no longer part of the group. You're looking back at the group, so they expect you to act and behave in a certain way.
Well said. So in other words, if you can't stand the heat, stay out of the White House.
Get out of the White House.
All right. Appreciate it, Hot Rod. Come on back through anytime.
Alrighty.
Hey, you too. All right, looking in the comments real quick, you guys know how the program is ran. We run an uncensored program. We go left of Bernie Sanders all the way to I'm having dinner with QAnon. We do not block, ban, or censor anyone. This is a totally uncensored format. Program is always MAGA friendly, always has been, always will be. Liberals are welcome as well. 4 more years, says Angela USA in the comments. They voted for him because that's what they wanted, says Big Nasty. What did they want? They voted for Trump because they wanted because that's what they wanted. What did they want when they voted for Trump? Some folks would say, you know, energy independence, a good economy, you know, lack of global conflicts, if I can get it out. What about any of that? A lot of folks suggest that the country was ran better under President Trump, despite the tweets, despite the name calling. The phrase, I could go for some mean tweets and $2 gas is very common for folks who are detractors of President Biden. Going back to the Biden, somebody said a closed border. I did see that. The humble trucker, good afternoon. Welcome to the program. It was not run better, says Ride With Me. Okay, fair enough. Humble trucker, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm going to have to ask that you drop and come back because the box is playing games and no one's going to be able to hear you. So I'm going to drop you, bring you right back. Give it a second for this guest to reset. The box has been doing it. Trump said that they are not after me. They're after you. I'm just in the way. Truth. Look, I've heard him say that numerous times, perhaps. But when you look at what they're going after Trump for, how the hell is he in the way for them going after you for that? Do you have any classified documents at your house that Trump is taking the charge so they don't go after you? Is anybody out there accusing you of rape so that Trump stood up in court to protect your ass? How is he defending you by taking it? It doesn't make any sense because what they're going after him for, you're not likely to ever experience that. I don't personally get where he's coming from. Somebody explain it to me because I'm admitting ignorance. I'm clueless on that one. Going right back to the box. I don't know what happened to my last caller, but we'll try it again with Rican, Texas. Good afternoon. Biden doesn't put America first. He puts illegals before everyone. Yikes. Tracy, a lot of folks on the right are saying that. I don't know if I totally agree, but I do get your point. Rican, Texas. Good afternoon. Rican, Texas. Okay, apparently the last caller has stepped away. Yeah, apparently something's going on with the box. So we'll try it. I don't know what's going on here, but let me try it one more time. We may have a box issue. For my folks on YouTube, feel free to smash that like button. Appreciate you folks that are tuning in this Saturday as well. I know what he means, says Calvin 9. Listen, I want to know what he means. I would like to know what he means as well. Real quick, Tracy mic drop. All right. Advent, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Tim. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Good. First of all, Decorum has left the building. He left the building in 2008. Before that, when Donald Trump started talking birther stuff, and he has progressively made it worse. So yes, and it's all predominantly on the Republican side. So yes, Decorum has left the building.
So you
incompetent children in Congress.
So you see the lack of decorum is mostly being orchestrated by Republicans.
There's nothing but nonstop footage of it, Tim.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is turn on your TV, no matter which media you look at. I look at all of them. I look at Fox, look at Newsmax, look at OAN, look at CNN. It's always the Republicans. Look anywhere, you'll see it.
But what about Nancy Pelosi ripping the speech up? I got to throw that out there.
Tim, you ever tore up a menu? That's what it was. It doesn't make it historic. An historic document is the Constitution. There's one of those. There are 500 at least of those speeches that are given out to everyone in the room, Congress, the court, Senate, and then the vice president, and so on.
So you don't see...
She tore hers up because it was garbage. So we can't tell her how to feel. She didn't want that menu in her house. She tore it up. That's all it was.
Did she have to do it on national TV while standing right after the speech?
Did Trump have to hold a Bible up upside down in front of a group of people that he ran off in D.C. with the military? He did it on TV because he wanted to.
Yeah.
Same difference.
So at the end,
you can't get mad at one side for doing what you do. If you open that door, be prepared for other people to do it too. So because you act bad and you act negatively, you can't be mad if the other side does too, because you open the door.
So let me.
There should be some rules, basic rules that we all follow.
So let me run this. Okay, so let me run this by you. Mike D in the comments says it was Obama that antagonized Trump at the White House press conference when he said Trump could not be president.
After Trump had been messing with him for 4 years, and he laid him out at that White House press conference. The best thing I ever saw at that White House dinner, laid Trump out, made him look like an idiot that he is. But he started the birthing movement back in 2007, before, when the man was running. So he did that before. Obama was being a nice guy and took it for years, and he just unleashed on him. And Trump felt small, which he should have been.
Yeah. Why do you think?
You can smack me a couple times, but don't get mad when I punch you.
Well, why do you think Trump? You said in 2007. I don't know when the birther movement started. I know Hillary Clinton actually did it before Trump did. But why do you think Trump jumped on the bandwagon with that?
You want my honest opinion, my personal opinion?
That's why you're here.
I believe Trump didn't like some things about Obama, whether it was his skin tone, whether it was Obama went to a different school, he was smarter than him, more put together than him. It could be a lot of things. I'm not going to put a motivation on the man because I don't know the man personally, but what he's shown me publicly, I will say he didn't like Obama because of his skin color.
But how do you respond?
A lot of racist activity.
Okay, when you say he didn't like Obama because of his skin color, there are a lot of folks who suggest that Trump did more for blacks than anyone else. What do you say with a phrase like that?
What did he do for black people?
Well, they're going to bring up that he got some.
For black people. Trump hasn't done anything for black people. He's been alive for 70-some years. Show me a list of his accomplishments for black people.
Well,
you want to tout him for that? Show it to me. You can't because he hasn't.
Well, they're going to bring up that some felons who would still be in prison are free because of Trump. Obviously, when I'm pardoning Lil Wayne and career criminal Kodak Black, the HBCU thing comes up all the damn time. They're going to bring up some of those things: the economy, the jobs numbers.
So Bush pardoned some criminals, Reagan pardoned some criminals, Obama, Biden, they all pardon criminals, and all these criminals aren't black. There are other criminals out there too. And mind you, a lot of criminals are white. So please stop getting it twisted. And please, people on the Republican side, my Republican brothers and sisters, please stop referring to people who coming across the border as illegals, because they come across the border and ask for asylum. They're not illegals. They're doing it the correct way.
Are you talking to Biden? Are you talking to Biden? You know he called them illegals at the State of the Union address.
I'm talking to all of us, because a lot of the problem is most of us are speaking about things we have no knowledge of, or we're just too dumb to the facts, and we don't want to research the facts.
But wait, Evan, hold on, Evan, hold on, hang on, hold on, Evan. Advent, hold on.
A lot of confusion we're going through.
Advent, you got liberal cities with folks laying all over the ground. People have been killed by some of these immigrants. Does it really care? Does it really matter what you call them? I mean, you say you do your homework. People can see this.
I'm not going to say the kill word on your show because I don't know how TikTok likes it or whatever. But the same amount, I guarantee you, there are greater amounts of people who've been unalived by white people, by black people, than by immigrants who are coming to this country looking for a better life. I guarantee you that.
So let me ask you the final question. Do you believe Biden has handled the border worse than Trump or better than Trump or equal to Trump?
I'm going to be honest, the border has been a real issue for about 50 years now. But there's some caveats to that. The border didn't become a major political issue until a few years ago when it was noted that we have so many people coming in of brown and other colors that were going to make a certain particular race who were seen as the majority, the minority.
This is a long answer, Evan.
About 2 years from now.
This is a long Evan. This is a long answer. Who handled the border better between Biden and Trump?
Oh, who handled the border better? I thought you asked me, do we have a border problem?
No.
I don't think Trump handled the border better. If I could give out a third answer, I would say Obama, because Obama just sent everybody back. But he didn't separate children from their families. There's still like 3,000 kids who aren't connected with their parents. And Trump and Stephen Miller did that on purpose to show them, hey, if you come here, we're going to separate you from your kids, and we don't care where they end up. And that was wrong. I mean, Americans, we are the bread and butter of this world. Whether I don't care what political party you're from, we set a higher standard because we aim for higher standards.
Yeah, I think you're getting a couple things wrong. First of all, Obama definitely did separate families at the border, and
Obama sent everyone home. So if you came with your wife and your 3 kids, you left with your wife and 3 kids. He didn't say, keep your 3 kids in a cage, parents go home. He sent everybody home. And that was the problem. Well, it was a problem then because Obama sending everybody home. He's sending everybody home. He's deporting everybody. He's the master porter in chief. Back then it was a problem.
That doesn't explain away what I stated. Okay, let's say you come here illegally, and Obama puts the mom in a cage and puts the kid over here, and then 6 months later they're deported together. You still separated the families. Obama was separating families.
There are still 3,000 kids that we're looking for, or that parents are looking for, because they got separated and they just disappeared under Trump watch. Okay. They disappeared. So until Trump does that, Trump will always have the worst border. Trump will always have the worst border. Now, as far as Biden's border, it's a political issue now, and it's not so much a political issue because it's a little bit more than it's taken on a life of its own, because there are a lot of people who are holding the border issue as part of things like, I can't find a decent job because illegals are taking jobs. That's not true. A lot of illegals come here to do jobs that we, as Americans, don't want to do. They do the crappy jobs.
I don't know.
And also, a lot of companies who make all the money are hiring them because they're cheap labor.
Yeah.
So they're hiring these people. So if you want to get mad at somebody, get mad at those the 1%ers who are bringing these people in or not stopping these people and then hiring them to do the jobs. So,
all right. Okay. Listen, we disagree on a few things, but Advent, you're always welcome back to the program. I do appreciate you coming in this Saturday. You're welcome.
And Tim, I want to personally say this. I said in the comment, after this is over and when Trump loses again, don't come out as a Trump plant, because I still want to come on your show and debate with you because I like debating with you.
All right. I'm not going anywhere, Advent, and you'll always be welcome back. All right. Moving the program on. I won't come out as a Trump plant. That's the first time I've heard of that. Wow. Looking in the comments, both sides of the aisle are corrupt. Career politicians are multi-millionaires. Remember when both sides of the aisle hated one man? He threatens their piggy bank. Trump 2024. Now, there is a lot of career politicians on both sides of the aisle. However, Obama wasn't a career politician. And Trump hated Obama too. So you don't have to be a career politician to be hated. Most of the right, particularly my beloved MAGA, didn't like Obama. There's nothing career about Obama. Served for 2 years in the Senate, 8 years in the White House. He was not a career politician, and he was hated, no different than the likes of Nancy Pelosi or Chuck Schumer. He might as well spend his entire life in politics. He was hated no less than career politicians. So I don't know if the career politician comment on its face explains it all. Yeah, but both sides of the aisle are not advocating to end our democracy. Only one cult is. I'll read that again. Metal Face Czar on YouTube. By the way, we do run a simulcast on YouTube. By the way, also tap the screen. 900 plus of you in here with your boy on a Saturday. Wow, I feel honored. Get me up to 30,000 likes. And for you YouTubers, feel free to smash that like button. This is an uncensored program. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone ever for their commentary. You don't have to agree with anyone else on the program, including yours truly. You won't be blocked, banned, or have your speech limited simply because you have a difference of opinion. Now, Metal Face Czar on YouTube said, yes, but both sides of the aisle are not advocating to end our democracy. Only one cult is doing so. Who might Metal Face Czar be referring to? That's a strong comment. Who can he be referring to? A cult ending democracy. Yikes. Dems are crooks, says Mike Holmes. Going back to the box. Appreciate you folks that are tapping the screen. Might be to get to 30,000 if you let your thumbs not be lazy. Going straight back to Palestinian Jew. How does that work? A Palestinian Jew. Welcome to the program, Uncensored. You know how we do. Palestinian Jew, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How does that work? A Palestinian Jew? That is like a transgender conservative. Go ahead and explain.
Explain. Yeah, I was born and raised in Israel. I served in the IDF. I was a rabid Zionist, and I changed I completely changed. I went 180 degrees, anti-Zionist, pro-Palestinian. That's a Palestinian Jew.
Wow. So you don't still follow Allah?
I'm sorry? Allah?
Yeah, Allah.
No, I don't follow. No, I'm not Muslim. I'm
Palestinian Jew.
I was born as a Jew. Jews do not follow Allah. Jews think Allah is a Satan. That's what Jews believe.
Wow.
I don't believe so, but that's what the Jews religious Jews.
Would you be welcome in Gaza back when it was still operating, back October 6th and before? Would you have been welcome in Gaza as a Palestinian Jew?
Would I be welcome in Gaza? What do you mean? I'm for complete freedom for all the Palestinians.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that. I'm not doubting that. I'm saying, would the Palestinians that do follow Allah, would they have been welcoming to you being a Palestinian Jew?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. They'll be welcoming to you.
Okay,
Absolutely.
that's different. This is certainly different. So we're talking politics here in this country. Now, how long have you been in America all your life, or how long you been here?
I've been here about 50 years. I'm 72 years old.
Okay, wow. So you do vote in our elections and everything then?
Yes, I do.
What do you lean, right or left, if you will?
I'm definitely leaning left. I mean, there's no way I'll ever vote for Trump.
Why not?
He's
Listen.
an idiot. He's a fascist. He's a white supremacist. I don't know why you, a black man, support Trump. What the fuck is wrong with you, man?
Do you see the name of the program? Hold on. You
He's
see?
a fucking white supremacist.
Do you see the name?
Don't you realize that?
Palestinian Jew. I'm not arguing with you. I'm asking you a question. Do you see the name of the program?
I see Make America Great Again.
Do you see the name of the program? Take your eyes off the hat. Do you see the name of the program?
Oh, what's the name of the program?
The Handsome Liberal.
The handsome liberal? Oh, no kidding.
I lean left.
This dumbass hat on your car. Why are you hanging that fucking hat on there?
Well, the purpose of the hat is to let folks know I believe that everyone should be able to speak and let because listen, regardless of what side of the aisle you're on, I believe that conservatives, Republicans, and particularly MAGA get blocked and banned, and I'm not for that. I want to let them know when you come here, you have a right to speak. I don't believe anyone should be censored because they have a difference of opinion. That's why the hat is there. That is why the hat is there.
I got it. Okay, no, I didn't. The name of the program is kind of halfway blocked on my phone. I don't see. I just see the hands. That's all I can see. There,
all right.
So.
Well, let me make that clear to you because you were ready to go full speed attack. Listen, I'm not going to ban you or limit you in any way, but I do believe everybody should be able to speak. I lean left politically though, but you see Trump as a white supremacist. What makes you say that?
Trump is a white supremacist?
Didn't you say that?
Yes, yeah. Well, isn't it obvious that he's a white supremacist?
Tell me why it would be obvious. What has Trump done to make you think he's a white? I mean,
when he was first elected, all the white supremacist riots came about. Remember what was it? Charleston, when they came up with the tiki torches and all the Nazis and white supremacists went on marches all over the country. Were you around then? Do you remember that?
Yes, I do remember that. But how about the notion that Trump didn't tell them to act like a fool? They did it on their own.
So they did it on their own because they knew who the leader was. They found the fucking Führer. They found the leader. And now they're going out in support of their leader. That's who he was. He was a leader of the white supremacists. He never denounced the Proud Boys, or he never denounced all of these idiots. You know, he was. He gave him complete freedom to roam and spew the hate and all that shit. The guy's a hater.
Give me something in your humble opinion that Trump has said to back up your claims that he's a racist or a white supremacist in any way.
Look at his record with the Central Park Five. How he took one full-page ad in the New York Times to advocate convicting them because they were black. What do you mean? Okay. Come on, no. You cannot be acting dumb, man. I mean, you know what he is.
Listen, my job is to interact with the public and ask the questions. That's why I'm not going to let you. You said something pretty wild. I got to ask you. Now, under Trump, because you're a Palestinian Jew, under Trump, those two factions were not at war like they are now. Under Biden, a liberal president, look what's going on in Gaza. A lot of folks that you're probably related to by at least a 6-degree separation, you're related to them. They're doing way worse under a Biden administration. Under Trump, you didn't have all this. You don't see any benefit to having Trump in office when it comes to the lack of wars and global conflicts?
No. Are you kidding me? You think there'd be lack of war if Trump came in Palestine? You think that Trump can stop the uprising in Palestine? Forget about it. He can only make it worse. He can only listen. Biden is a wuss, without a doubt. Biden should not be running on this issue. It's complete lip service. He should stop arming Israel. Cut off all aid to Israel right now, immediately. Stop cutting off aid and just go in there with a couple of flotillas and feed everybody in Gaza. That's what he should be doing. 2 months it's going to take him to do it. It's too late. Hundreds of thousands of people are going to starve to death.
Now
Israel will not let aid go in.
Now you being a Palestinian Jew, what is your opinion on Netanyahu?
Netanyahu is the same. Look, Netanyahu is a devil, but it's not only him. All the Zionist leaders are the freaking devil. It doesn't matter who is in power over there. As long as they're Zionists, they're the devil. They want to eliminate all the Palestinians. They want to ethnic cleanse all of them, wipe them all off the face of the earth, because they think if they have just a Jewish state for all Jews, that'll be the salvation. They'll be living happily ever after. First of all, it's never going to happen. And if it did happen, it'd be the worst freaking things that happen to them. But being one Jewish state with no Palestinians.
So how do you respond to folks who might suggest if Hamas, the Palestinian side of your Palestinian Jewish heritage, if Hamas had never did what they did on October 7th, Gaza Strip with the.
Listen, October 7 came 75 years too late. This October 7 should have happened when Israel first started stealing Palestinian lands. They've been stealing Palestinian land, evicting them off the land since 1948. They have been systematically ethnic cleansing Palestinians. Have you heard of the Nakba? Have you heard about the great how they kicked everybody, all the Palestinians off of Palestine into refugee camps? Gaza was a refugee camp.
Wait, hold on. Are you defending October 7th as an act of self-defense? A lot of innocent folks were raped and murdered.
I defend it. Absolutely, I defend it as an act of rebellion. It's a slave rebellion. That's what it is. They finally woke up and said, fuck you, Zionists, we're coming after you. Listen, I had family members that got killed on October 7th. I'm from there. I have friends that have grandkids, Israeli grandkids that got killed as soldiers in IDF.
So you're referring to it.
Difficult to... But I have to live with my conscience.
Now, I gotta say you're a very fascinating guest. I'm gonna talk to you for a little bit more. But so you're suggesting it was a slave rebellion. So you're telling me the folks that were murdered on October 7th, they're slave owners, kids,
yes,
women, elderly.
Listen, all the Zionists are slave owners. Those slaves built Israel. They support the Israeli economy. They're slaves. They work for nothing. The slaves are under Israel's thumb 100%. They're not, no, they're all slave owners. Everybody that supports Zionism, every Zionist is a slave owner. Absolutely, de facto, slave owner.
Even the kids.
Listen, I was a kid. I was indoctrinated to hate the Palestinians, to think of them as garbage, as dirty animals that got to be exterminated. That's what I grew up on. Wow. Brainwashed. I was brainwashed to hate the Palestinians, and that's what happened to me. And it's happening to everybody there. That's why they think like that. That's why they all think like that. That's why they become genocidal maniacs, because that's what they teach them in school to be, genocidal maniacs. And they back it up with verses from the Old Testament.
Okay. Last question before I move it on. But what do you think the difference would be? Okay, you said Biden is a wuss. Do you think any changes in that region would happen at all if Trump became president this come November?
It'll get worse.
How so?
Because Trump is going to take the Israeli side. He's going to be, you think, listen, what's his name? Called himself a Zionist. That was the biggest mistake of his life. When Biden identified himself as a Zionist. He said, I'm a Zionist, I've always been a Zionist. He identified himself as a Zionist. That is going to lose him the election, for sure. The guy is fucking toast. He should step down, get the fuck out of there. That's him, he's a wuss. But Trump is 10 times worse.
Wow. Trump
is 10 times worse. At least Biden is talking about relief aid now. He's coming to his senses and saying, man, we can't let these people starve to death. We got to bring them some food. The Israelis are not letting it in. We got to bring it in. At least he's got some heart. Right. He's not a smart man, but he's not a very smart man by supporting Israel. But he's got a heart for sure. You know, he's a Catholic with a good heart, and he wants to help the unfortunate. And despite all the opposition from both sides of the aisle in Congress, they're all bought and paid for by the Zionist lobby, by AIPAC. Every single politician in the United States, both sides of the aisle, Democrat, Republican, they're bought and paid for by the Zionists.
It's interesting you would say that Biden is he's a Catholic, he has a good heart, because the Catholics and most of the evangelicals in this country are supporting Trump. They're not supporting Biden.
That's all stupid.
I gotta go. All right. Palestinian Jew, you certainly have a name now I'll never forget. You're always welcome back on the program. We may not agree with everything, but you're certainly welcome back here anytime. Very fast.
Love to come on. You have enough audience for me to. I'm very interested in talking to you again. You managed to attract quite an audience. Very good. Good for you.
Thank you. You're a fascinating guest. Come on through anytime, man. I appreciate it.
Well, I'm here now. If you can keep me if you want, and bring somebody else on to debate me if you want.
But it's up to you. Unfortunately, people are waiting. I gotta move it on. But yeah, anytime. Okay. All right, you too. Now, looking in the comments, I am Jewish in the land of Israel right now, says Robert Rappaport. Do you see things the way he did on YouTube? Robert Rappaport said, "I'm Jewish and I'm in Israel at this moment." I'd be curious. Do you see it the way he does? I know Netanyahu is not very. His favorability ratings are not very high, even in Israel. We're talking about Benjamin Netanyahu. Squatter state of Israel. Yikes! You're suggesting that Israelis are squatters in the Middle East. Trump is going to make both sides get along. He already said that. Out loud, Josie, well, I think that's a bit of humor. I think I kind of find that to be comical, that Trump is going to make both sides get... if you're okay with Marjorie Taylor Greene doing what she did at the State of the Union address, then no, you're not trying to make both sides get along. Going back to the box. Thank you for tapping the screen on TikTok. We're close to 50,000, close to 800 folks. So if you tap the screen, you can get your boy up to 50,000 likes. And for my YouTubers, thank you for participating this Saturday. What do I always say? You could be anywhere you want. So to have you here with yours truly on a Saturday is an honor. Uncensored program. It is and always will be MAGA friendly. That's how we always run the program. Feel free to smash that like button. If you enjoy civilized dialogue on both sides of the aisle without any concern of the host blocking, banning, or censoring anyone, after all, we go left of Bernie Sanders all the way to I'm having dinner with QAnon. Everyone gets to speak. Feel free to drop a subscription or follow the program on TikTok. Going back to the box, I just hit something I did not want to hit, but we'll continue moving the program on. Scott, good afternoon, Scott. Welcome to the Crow program. Why is Orban at Mar-a-Lago? I did not know that, Rosa. That's an interesting question. I'd have to look that up. That's worth discussing. Scott, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
I just have a question.
Sure.
When you were talking to the last guy, I heard you say it's kind of funny that people laugh, say Trump's gonna make Israel and Palestine have peace.
Yeah.
He got when he was president, I forget what three countries over there, he got to sit and talk and sign a peace treaty between the three while he was president.
Well, the fact that you can't remember who they were shows you that might not be that valid. Who are they? Three countries to sign a peace agreement. I mean, you don't know any of them because I don't know any of them. Who are they?
Oh, man. Honey, you remember who they were? Oh, yeah, I can't. I wish I had... I was trying to get my cards in a row to talk to you.
Yeah, and Scott, you may be correct, but that speaks volumes that whoever the three countries were is not enough to jog your memory because it's pretty clear they're not major on the world stage. You would, if it was Russia and the Ukraine,
okay,
or Syria and if it was the Syrians and those folks, you would remember that right off the bat. The fact that you can't remember it does say a lot.
Okay, you got me.
I mean, did he stop? Maybe he stopped Niger or the Congo or some. Yeah, it could be something
right.
Small.
Right. Okay, you got me.
So.
Sudan and Israel. Sorry, Sudan and Israel.
Okay, yeah, I said Niger. Yeah, Sudan. I mean, yeah, that's not a country that we really pay a lot. Israel, obviously, but Sudan, it is what it is. Okay, so you do agree though that Trump would probably be better for ending global conflicts than, say, Biden?
Oh, 100%. If you look under his presidency, Putin was going to go invade Ukraine under him, and he told him, hey, Putin, back off. And a lot of people think that Trump's in his back pocket. You ever hear me? Keep your friends close, keep your enemies even closer.
I've heard that.
And I don't agree with everything Trump says. But Democrats knew we were coming up for an election in 4 years, and they knew Trump was coming out fighting.
Yeah.
And the best you can do is, I'm not going to put Biden down. He's an old guy. I got respect for the office. May not like him, but I got respect for him. He's the president of the United States, and a lot of people don't have that respect anymore for the office.
So what do you think about that, by the way, when you say people don't have respect? When you see Marjorie Taylor Greene showing up completely donning MAGA gear, including the MAGA hat, what is your opinion on that?
I dislike it 100%.
Yeah.
I dislike it, man. We forgot the middle ground, and that's where I'm at. I'm in the middle. And if you're in the middle, people call you names and call you think you're this side or that side. I'm not left. I'm not right. I want what's best for America. I want what's best for you and your family, for mine and my family, not just for me. You know, if I disagree with something, I disagree with it. But if it's best for the United States, hey, suck it up and move on, man. It's best for the United States.
So how do you respond to folks who suggest that, because we've had callers on the day suggest that most of the division has come from the Trump presidency and that folks felt emboldened to be the assholes they've naturally inspired to be. Do you see any validity to that statement?
Very little I see to that statement. You know, we're all human beings and we all have our own minds. If you can make one man make you act that way, then I really sit back and think, what kind of issues you got going on in your head?
Well, speaking of your statement, which was well eloquent, you said if one man could make you act that way. Did you happen to be watching television on January 6, 2021?
No, I didn't. I was working. I worked second shift then.
Did you hear what happened that day?
Oh, yeah. The Capitol, I heard the riot. I heard the day after I heard his speech. And did he get people fired up? Yes, he did. You'll be a fool to sit back saying he didn't get people fired up. But people have their own minds. You could get me fired up. I get fired up watching my football team play.
But what about the notion that I got you fired up by telling you something that possibly is completely false? Yeah, big dog, thank you for the hat and mustache, first of the day, thank you. What about me getting you fired up by telling you something that I have no proof of? It turns out right now, at least some 3 years later, looks like it was completely fabricated.
Right. Yeah, it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way. You know, we have, I'm sorry to say, our politics in this country have gone to the curbside. You know, everybody's got to be right. Everybody's got to have it their way. We can't have it all our way.
True.
You can't have it one way or the other. There's no common ground. And that's people in the common ground are the ones getting ate up out here now.
Yeah. But in regards to trying to unite this country, if you only had those two choices and your goal was to try to unite this country, who do you think could get us at least closer to that? Neither one is likely to succeed, but who do you think could get us closer to a unified America between Trump and Biden?
Oh, that's a very tough question. You know, it's like the pendulum is just hanging on both sides equally. They're both equally as messed up.
So when we discuss Trump, but to avoid having what some folks might refer to as Trump derangement syndrome, we talk about Biden. What do you think Biden has done to divide this nation?
Oh, I think I'm almost 50 years old. I can remember looking him up in school and doing a report on him. Back in the 70s, he didn't want to intervene with California about a black girl riding a school bus. He wrote the worst crime bill in my lifetime in '94. And it just seems like things he does divides us even more. And then that's black and white to me. That's in paper. He's been in the Senate for damn near as long as I've been alive, and he hasn't done one. I can't really say what good thing he's done. He's lied about the accident that his wife and his first daughter was killed in. Lied on the guy, said the guy was a drunk and everything. And I looked this up. I fact checked it. The guy wasn't drunk. What happened? She ran a stop sign. He was coming up over a knoll. and it was a sunny day, he didn't see her, boom, accident. But he made this guy out to be some kind of freaking less than thou, you know?
Now, you mentioned the crime bill. That does come up often in reference to Biden. Here's one of the things I often wonder about, because, you know, the 94, 90, whenever that crime bill was passed in the mid 90s, I mean, I'm old enough that I was a full-grown adult during that time, and I do recall a lot of African Americans suggesting that the criminal justice system under the crime bill and those draconian three-strike laws was a racist system. And during that time, folks were telling African Americans, listen, racism ended hundreds of years ago. If you don't want to have any problem with the law, just comply and nothing will happen to you. Now here we are some 30 years later after the crime bill, and folks, many of the same folks who were saying the system is not racist and racism ended hundreds of years ago are readily admitting, yeah, it was racist as hell when the crime bill passed. So do you hold anyone else accountable because Biden, as a senator from Delaware, didn't pass that on his own?
Oh, I hold them all accountable. We have one of the most racist governments in the world, if you ask me.
Okay.
If you ask me, you can go back and you can look on both sides.
Right now, you said we have one of the most racist governments in the world. Are you talking about right now or 200 years ago?
I'm talking through the whole time.
So right now, today, we have one of the most racist governments in the world.
I think.
Okay, all right. We're getting somewhere. Keep going. You're doing good. Keep going.
And if you go down both sides,
yeah, no argument.
It's terrible. It's terrible. It's terrible. And the ones caught in the middle of it, and I'm a white guy saying it, are the black communities. You go all the way to Lyndon B. Johnson. And look what he did. He helped destroy the want to call it the mother and the father being in the home.
Yeah. Well, when you look at America, though, and you look at African Americans, do you think African Americans were worse off after Lyndon B. Johnson as opposed to before?
When it comes to the nuclear family, I think it's worse.
What about when it comes to civil rights and the freedom to just be free?
To me, that, you know, you're putting little candy pieces on the cake. You know, I'll give you this.
You refer to You refer to civil rights as candy pieces on the cake? That's the whole damn cake. That's what they were fighting for. You refer to civil rights as less than the nuclear family?
No. Maybe I picked the wrong words to say.
Okay, I'll take wrong words for 200, Scott. I agree with that.
Right.
You really fucked that one up. Okay, keep going. Okay. All right, so the crime bill certainly on Biden. I'm not going to argue with you on that at all. I don't think there's anyone who views the crime bill as something that was beneficial, particularly to African Americans. But that's why I brought that up, is because he didn't do that by himself, and it's not like there's a host of Republicans coming forward. Folks like Newt Gingrich, big dog, yeah! Thank you for the hat and mustache. It's not like there was a hell of a lot of Republicans saying the crime bill is wrong, it's racist to African Americans, no way, no how. Biden may have been the guy who authored part of the team that authored that crime bill, but I think the majority of folks in Washington, regardless of what side of the aisle they're on, were okay with it. So, I mean, is it kind of disingenuous to only target Biden?
Well, he's the one that someone's got to lead it, right?
Yeah.
He was the leader of it.
I mean, because we know Mitch McConnell, his old ass, Mitch McConnell was in the Senate. How did he vote on it?
He voted for it.
Yeah.
I don't like Mitch. I say we wash Washington out and start over. I really do. You got to get the common people in there, the ones that just want to provide for their families. They want their friends and everybody around them just to prosper in this land.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it's all about. Everybody, to me, I don't see color. I don't see disabilities. I don't see none of that. You're a human being to me.
I like that. All right, Scott. All right, Scott. Now we'll end on that. That's very pleasant to say. And certainly, that's the way it should be. Unfortunately, as you stated, this is America, and we've been racist since day one. So that's not likely to happen anytime soon. But I do agree with the sentiment.
Yeah, and I thank you for bringing me up. I've been watching you for probably over a year now.
Wow.
And I enjoy it.
Thank you. Appreciate the support, man. Anytime. The door's always open. I'll move it on, but come on back anytime. Looking in the comments, no one... I seen the comment I wanted to read and it moved on. I would agree we should start over, but we can't if Trump is voted in. I gotta disagree with that, Kareem. You're saying that I would agree we should start over, but we cannot if Trump is put in. We definitely are going to start over because Trump operates under loyalty. Everyone's job is at risk if Trump gets reelected. Trump is trying to put in loyalists. I think I just read today that he put his daughter-in-law in as the head of the RNC. No. That's not corrupt at all. Your daughter is now on the board of the Republican National Committee that controls the money and things like that. I think I just read that today. Maybe I'm wrong, but wow, your own child, your own daughter-in-law is heading the RNC. No, ain't no corruption to that at all. Not really. Co-chair, yes. That's the definition of corruption, says facts only. Look, it looks bad. I'm just going to tell you that. Obviously, she's biased. There's no denying this woman is biased as hell. So any other politicians that want to run as a Republican politician, when it comes to getting RNC funds and things like that, you essentially needs to bow down to Trump. You're going to have a hard time with his daughter-in-law being partially responsible for some of the money. Not corrupt at all. So the RNC is going to pay for all the legal fees. Now, bravo. Aren't they kind of already doing that anyway? All right, going back to the box, real quick, Congress shouldn't be a career politician. Or career position, rather. 4 to 6 years, then they become regular people again. The problem is, to get what you're suggesting, you need Congress to vote it in. Who's going to vote themselves out of a job? If the president suggested, he needs Congress to help pass his signature legislation and ideals. So the president, what you've seen under Trump, all his term limits, no, he's not going to do that shit because it's literally slitting his own throat. I'll give you an example before I go to the box of how I believe someone like Trump could have gotten us all term limits. And I'm going to say Trump because I strongly believe we have not had a commander-in-chief that has had more party loyalty in our lifetime than President Trump. Here's how you get term limits. We want them in 10 years. That sit down with the Congress people, Congress folks, representatives, whatever the hell you want to call them, in private. I'm going to propose term limits, and I want you guys all to agree with it, but here are the terms. It doesn't start for 10 years. I don't give a damn what you are doing in your town, what deals you're making, how you're feeding your family, whatever the hell it is. You got 10 years to wrap that shit up. Sign this bill. Term limits start in 2027. That's 10 years after he was president. So, that gives you multiple terms to still run. A lot of you folks may not be Congress by then anyway, because you got to run an election every 2 damn years. 10 years to do what you need to do, handle your affairs. I hate to say it, but make your money. You got 10 years, but the bill we're going to agree on today starts in 2027. I think he could have got it done. I really think he could have got it done because the loyalty for Trump, and if you don't agree to the bill, your name will be mentioned at every damn rally we can come up with, whether you're liberal or conservative. You were the one that was against term limits. That didn't start for 10 years. I really think he could have got it done based on that premise. Looking in the comments, sounds like a plan. Trump will be president. Democrats can't stop it this time. How did they stop it last time, Jingo? How did they stop it last time? Going to the box. We'll keep it moving with Bushmaster 11 Bravo. Good afternoon, good old Bushmaster. Good to have you back on the program. So we're talking about lack of decorum. Certainly, did you catch the State of the Union address, Bushmaster?
I caught pieces of it, yeah.
Okay, we see not Nancy Pelosi, but Marjorie Taylor Greene shows up in full Trump garb, MAGA hat, slogans on her shirt and things like that. Is that appropriate for a State of the Union address?
Sure. I mean, what's wrong with it?
So we're talking.
I would say inappropriate would be showing up naked.
So Trump is giving a speech and everybody's wearing, Black Lives Matter gear, or maybe Colin Kaepernick taking a knee on the front of a shirt. They're, anti-Trump slogans on their shirt. You think that's okay?
Yeah, I mean, that's their freedom, that First Amendment,
Yeah. Not disrespectful at
is okay.
Not disrespectful at all.
As long as it's not like indecent exposure or something like that, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, now I'm under the impression, I didn't see this, but I've certainly read about it, that Marjorie Taylor Greene even showed a picture of Hunter Biden's genitals. What say you?
Say what now?
Marjorie Taylor Greene once showed a picture of Hunter Biden's genitals.
Well, I mean, it's a picture. That's not the actual person, so the picture can't really hurt you.
So you're okay with that too, right on the House floor?
I'm sure 90% of the freaking population watches porn. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a picture,
all right,
or a video, not really a person right out there.
Okay.
Putting it on you, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So now you do know
that's
that.
Weird.
Now you support Trump. I'm correct, right? You lean right?
Yeah, I'm going to vote for Trump.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. But the reason I'm asking you that is, when Trump gives a speech, you and I both know there are plenty of pictures of Melania Trump out there completely naked, crotch, boobs, everything, not a stitch of clothing on. You're okay with somebody showing up to Trump's State of the Union address with a picture of his wife on their t-shirt, naked?
I mean, I don't know why. But sure, if they want to, go ahead. I don't care.
So where does the decorum, the line ends? I mean, is there are we in the point where literally anything is okay?
What about that Democrat that got caught making sex tapes in the freaking building? Like, really?
Hobart? What are you talking about?
No. You didn't hear about that?
Yes, I did hear about that. Yeah, but that's not during the middle of a session that's on national TV.
What?
I mean,
what does that matter?
Well, people are watching it live, is what.
In the building.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you. That's wrong as well. But I'm saying that is wrong. The stuff I'm asking you, you're saying it's okay.
There's a big difference in the actual act of making smex tapes and stuff like that versus a picture.
So where does it end then? So it's
with a MAGA hat on.
Yeah, but you're okay with holding up genitalia. I mentioned Melania Trump's nude body on a t-shirt. You're okay with everything up to and including other than actual sex. You sound like you're okay with anything else.
If it's being used as evidence, yeah, it should be noticed. Absolutely.
It's evidence in a time where there is no one's discussing evidence. I mean, during the State of the Union address, nobody's.
Well, I mean, if they're showing it as evidence, then yeah.
Nobody's calling for any evidence, though. You're showing something that's not even being discussed. This isn't an evidentiary hearing.
Well, what did she say it was for then?
She's trying to embarrass the president, just like running through the halls with a white balloon.
The president, I don't think she has to help him doing that.
Well, then why do you think she's doing it?
What did she say? I don't know what she.
Marjorie Taylor Greene says so much, man. When you say what did she say, it's hard because when we had this balloon flying over the United States.
Well, I mean, Sure, but you brought it up. So what did she say?
Yeah.
Why did she show the picture?
She's doing it. She's doing it for exactly the reason you said she's not. She's trying to embarrass the president. She's doing things that nobody's asking her about, nobody's even talking about, just to embarrass the president.
I think he does a good enough job for that himself.
Well, whether he's doing a job of it himself or not, she certainly is aiding and abetting it. She's trying to embarrass. She's not doing it for the fun of it. She's doing it to try to embarrass the guy.
Well, I think that would embarrass Hunter and not the actual president anyway, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, if somebody showed intimate pictures of your kid at a speech where people were coming to watch you, it wouldn't embarrass you at all? Are you just pulling my chain, man? You're on stage. You're on stage. Hold on. Hang on. You're on stage.
I'm gonna be embarrassed for an action my child made. Like, that's just weird.
You're on stage. Everybody there is there to see you. And all of a sudden, people start holding up nude pictures of your child, and you're like, that wouldn't embarrass me at all.
No, I'd be like, I'd probably laugh and be like,
all right,
what
okay.
was you thinking, kid?
All right, listen, I don't think anyone believes you, Bushmaster. I don't think anyone does.
I don't know. I wouldn't be embarrassed.
Do you have children?
Yes, I have a child. A child. I don't have children. I have a child.
All right. Last question. We were also talking about crime, because Republicans are constantly suggesting that crime is outrageous in liberal cities. Do you see where Trump could bring down crime if he's reelected?
Absolutely.
So if I'm in Chicago and there are tons of carjackings, mob robberies, and things like that, what would Trump do to bring down crime in Chicago?
Well, from what I'm seeing, and this is just my opinion, you know who Trenda Argwa is?
No.
Okay, you know the FBI is reporting that they're coming through the border, right?
Okay, yes.
So Trenda Argwa, their MO is to infiltrate gangs, and we know we have gangs in our cities. Once they infiltrate these gangs, they make them more violent than what they previously may have been.
Trump was constantly referring to liberal cities as shitholes and cesspools while he was president. If he could bring down crime, why didn't he do it when he was president already?
You would have to have the support from the local politicians.
Do you think local politicians will support Trump in liberal cities if he's reelected?
Probably not.
So, according to you, you could only bring down crime if you have support from local politicians, and you stated that if Trump is reelected, those local politicians will not support him. So I'm going to ask you the same question again. Can he bring down crime in liberal cities?
He will.
How?
In some aspects, yes.
Give me some examples.
Yeah, I just gave you one, Trenda Argwa, and you quickly forgot it in about 30-second span.
No, because I asked you, why didn't he bring down crime in liberal cities while he was president, and you suggested because that cities didn't agree with him.
I would say he did, but that's just my opinion.
He didn't say he did. He himself did not go around bragging that since I've been president, crime in liberal cities is down. He said it was going up.
Summer of Love, he definitely didn't. I mean.
Yeah. So, go ahead.
You can't, but people are out there rioting and all that. I mean, that's on them. That ain't on Trump.
So how do you, speaking of the Summer of Love and the riots in 2020, have you noticed that under Biden that doesn't seem to be happening?
Yeah, because MAGA doesn't do that kind of type of stuff. Have you noticed that?
No, the same people who rioted in... Hold on, wait a minute, Bushmaster. We're not talking about MAGA. We're not talking about MAGA. The same folks that were rioting during the summer of 2020, Black Lives Matter, they're still alive. Why aren't they rioting under Biden?
Why aren't they what?
You mentioned the Summer of Love, and I told you, have you noticed that the Black Lives Matter riots and things like that, they're not happening under Biden like they were happening under Trump? Why do you think that is?
Why would they do something to make their quote-unquote president look bad?
Maybe because if he's mistreating them, remember, Trump is the one that loves black people. Biden's a racist. If Biden is a racist, they wouldn't view him as their president. You said, folks are saying Biden is a racist. Why would blacks view Biden as their president if he's racist?
Well, they're saying he's not. So.
Okay. All right. So in other words, perhaps he's not a racist then.
I would say he is, but they're saying he's not. That's why they're not out there doing that.
All right. So in other words,
all about perception.
Any idea why? So any idea why they might perceive? You mentioned this about perception. Any idea why they might perceive Trump as a racist?
Say that again.
You said it's all about perception. So I'm asking, is there any idea why they might perceive Trump as a racist?
Might perceive Trump as a racist?
Yeah.
I don't see him that way. Not if you do your research. That's just based off what the media told them to believe.
All right. I see in the comments people are saying many reasons, but all right, Bushmaster, I do have to move it on. It's good talking to you again. We haven't talked in a while.
Let me ask you a few questions.
I give you one. I gave you plenty of time. I give you one though. Go ahead.
All right. So, what do you think about the president saying Lincoln Riley and not Laken Riley?
About him getting the name wrong?
Yeah.
I mean, I've gotten my ex-wife's name wrong while I was on top of her. Shit happens. I don't know. He got the name wrong. What, you want to hang him?
Well, I mean, he did invite them to the speech, and they turned it down, and then he can't even pronounce their name right.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't want to be there either.
Yeah.
I mean, considering.
And I agree with you on that, but let's just be honest. We know when presidents invite you to the State of the Union address, it's only to make a political point. Just like if an immigrant comes to this country illegally and murders someone, and all of a sudden your descendants are invited to a Trump rally, it's to make a political point. So Biden didn't do his homework and get the name correctly. I'm going to hold Biden accountable for that, but that's really all it is he was trying to make a political point, just like he did with Kate Cox, the woman that had to leave Texas and go to Mexico to have an abortion. That happens at every State of the Union address. They bring people that have been victimized in a way that fits the narrative they're trying to talk to. Just like I mentioned with Trump, if he has a rally or a gathering, he's going to bring folks that were victimized by illegal aliens because it falls in line with him suggesting that they're criminals, rapists, and murderers. That's about it.
Well, I don't know. I've seen a lot of those victims, so maybe they can get that corrected. They need to. I think they need to get rid of that Executive Order 14010 personally.
All right, then you got to vote Trump back in. I got to move it on, though, Bushmaster. Thank you for coming through.
Right.
All right.
Have a good one.
You too. Looking in the comments, Trump can't even, what did that say? Wow. That's the talking point. Yeah, that's how talking points work. That's why they stay in their basement, like their dear leader, the white Filipino. Biden sure came out of his basement and gave one hell of a speech the other night, didn't he? I mean, the guy was supposed to have dementia, didn't know where he was at, couldn't string together a sentence, comes out at 9 o'clock at night when you would think an old man, suffering from advanced dementia would be going to bed. 9 o'clock at night local time, delivers a 90-minute speech, taking selfies and all, totally coherent. What happened? Can you really do that with advanced dementia? What happened? How did he do that? How did he pull that feet off? Let me turn on the light so I can see you, says Barbara Ann. I'm assuming you're referring to Trump saying, it's so dark in here, I can only see the black ones. Which, by the way, I think we mentioned that on the previous broadcast. When it's dark, the black folks are the ones you can't see. I've never heard someone say, because I'm a dark guy. You see what the hell's on your screen. It's so dark, you're the only guy I can see in here. Does that make any sense? For me, darkness is camouflage. How the hell can someone say it's so dark in here, I can only see the black ones? We talk about gaffes, missteps. How does that not qualify? When it's dark in the room, I can only see black people. Huh? What is that, like the end of The Sixth Sense featuring Bruce Willis, where the kid whispers, I see black people? How does that work? Going back to the box, I've never heard someone say that. It's so dark I can only see black people. I just hit something by mistake here. Real quick. All right, looking in the box. Tammy Green, friend of the program for sure. They said the black folks love his sneakers. Yeah, I don't even want to know where to go with that. Tammy, good afternoon. Tammy, are you there?
Hi.
Hey, good afternoon. Yes, loud and clear, loud and clear. So what do you think? You think the president could bring down crime if we re-elect Trump?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think he'll stir up more riots and shit that he did before.
How do you think he would do that? I mean, like, what do you think Trump might do that could cause folks to riot?
He doesn't care about anybody but himself.
Well, they all can be a bit narcissistic, Tammy, but I mean, what would he do that make people so pissed off? Or what do you think he might be capable of doing that could piss people off so much they would be inclined to riot?
In one of his speeches, or one time, he told the Proud Boys to stand down.
Yeah, stand back and stand by.
He has that kind of control over people that are racist. Yeah.
So you almost see him sort of like, I don't want to use terms like Grand Dragon, but you do see him as the leader
Absolutely.
of white supremacist groups. So is it safe to say you see Trump as a racist?
Yes.
Wow. Have you anything he's done to make you feel that way? Like, where is that coming from, the media or things you've seen him say and do?
Things I've seen him say and do. And even the stuff he's done with women. He just, yeah. Honestly, I can't stand the guy.
Wow.
He has no decorum, which is what I originally came on here for, because you mentioned at the beginning of the show about how we don't have any decorum anymore. Yeah. And we don't. I'm a manager. I mean, my job is to manage, a company. And if I talked to anyone the way that he talks to people, I'd be fired in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
When you're the president, you're the boss. You shouldn't talk to people that way. There are always ramifications of talking to people in the wrong way.
Give me an example of something you've heard Trump say that you know for certain if you said that at your job, it would be over with.
Oh gosh, that is so hard because there's so much stuff. Recently, the shoes.
Oh, you sound like Spike Lee. It's the shoes, man.
Yes.
You're talking about the notion that, I put out sneakers and blacks like sneakers, so that should lead them to vote for me.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm going to say this, though. I'm going to say this, though. I believe that has been it's kind of like I can see Russia from my house. I believe it kind of has been attached to a person that I don't think Trump said that. I think someone representing Trump, I believe that was said on Fox News. And he has said some quotes. I'm not going to take that away from me. He said some quotes, but I don't know if he said that one. I'd have to really look at it, but I don't know if he himself stated that. He did say that because he has a mugshot, it has a criminal record or indictment. He don't have a criminal record, but he has indictments. He has stated that should lead blacks to be sympathetic toward him. So it's very similar to what you're saying, but I don't think he came out and said the shoes, though. But I get your point.
Yes, exactly. So I was raised in a church. And yeah, you're in a church, you're listening to the pastor, and you get your random amen to agree with them. Yeah. Or, a random, call up. But certain people who yelled out things during
the State of the Union
speech the other night.
Yeah.
It was uncalled for.
Yeah. So
just like I can't scream out random stuff at my employees. I mean, how is that? If I say something to one of my employees just randomly, is that freedom of speech, or is that
something that I shouldn't do.
Yeah, you make a good point. Yeah, you make a good point. If you're at a company meeting or some type of conference and the CEO or the boss is on stage and you're in the audience, yeah, you can't just yell out random shit or have anti-company shirts and slogans. Yeah, I agree with you that we need to have a bit more decor. But do you see a lack of decor in this current environment as something that was orchestrated by Trump, or some say it started with Obama? Do you see any divisiveness maybe coming from Obama and then happening during Trump? Sail away? William, thank you. Thank you, William. Go ahead, Tammy.
So I didn't get into politics until 2020. So I really can't speak much about Obama, besides going back and listening to his speeches. He was a very powerful speaker. He has a lot of charisma. Trump? Not so much.
So it's interesting you say that you didn't get into politics until 2020. Let me ask you this, because I've said this before in the program numerous times, that regardless of whether you like Trump or not, I believe he personally is responsible for more people paying attention to politics than anyone else. Is Trump the reason you got involved in politics?
Yes.
Yeah, I believe that. I believe that's why most people, I will give Trump credit for that. Whether you love him or you despise him, he is the reason everybody's all of a sudden really interested in politics. But you, Tammy, personally, you don't want him in office by any means.
No.
Wow.
I'll gladly check anybody but Biden box.
Wow. Anybody but Biden?
I misspoke. Anybody but Trump box.
All right, Tammy. All right. Well said. So you almost sound like Mark Cuban of Shark Tank fame, who recently stated he wouldn't vote for Trump even if Biden was on his deathbed receiving last rites. He would still vote for Biden. Are you that far away from Trump?
Yes.
Wow. What has he done? Is that bad?
And I know everybody's going to really hate me for saying this, but I know we shouldn't vote on our feelings, but my feelings have never steered me wrong. I'm sorry, I just don't like the guy. Everything that I've seen, I can't even stand to listen to his speeches.
Damn.
I've tried so hard. And even the stuff that you post, the reels and stuff, I can't listen to it. Just, I don't know. It's like nails on a chalkboard.
All right, nails on the chalkboard. Tammy, always a pleasure. Appreciate you coming on. Wow, never Trump. You are a never Trumper, by the way. That's what they will refer to you as. And you admit it. Okay, appreciate it. Anytime, Tammy. Anytime. Come on back through. All right, looking in the box. Never would actually vote for Biden on his deathbed, receiving last rites. That's what Mark Cuban said. My last guest also agreed. Is there anybody else in the audience, for you folks that are tuned in? And by the way, 500 plus of you on YouTube. Wow, thank you. Program is simultaneously ran on both platforms. And understand, folks, the program is ran in an uncensored format. We do not block, ban, or censor anyone. You'll hear opinions you think are ridiculous, and you'll hear things you think are quite favorable, because we do believe in letting everyone speak. The program is and always will remain MAGA friendly, but it is indeed uncensored. We go left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having dinner with QAnon, and everyone gets to speak. Trump took your data, says Emir on YouTube. I don't get that. We all lived through Trump's first term. Well, living through Trump's first term there, Juju, some would say the economy was considerably better than it is now. Some would point out that they believe we were far more energy independent. Others might say there was not wars breaking out all over the globe. There are people who favor the Trump economy. So understand that folks have a difference of opinion to some degree. Hillary running for office in 2024. That ain't going to happen. Lily Brown, that's not likely to happen. Trump stole your data and gave it to Putin. If you can prove that, Trump would certainly be up on some new charges. There's good people on both sides of the take down the statue or not debate. Listen, I'm no fan of the Confederate statues. I told you why on last program. I think they're participation trophies. I really do. pride and heritage, fine. There are a lot of things in regards to the South that you can be proud of. I mean, at the end of the day, the Civil War is only a very small period in U.S. history in terms of years. There's a lot you can be proud of that is derived from the South, other than, a few statues and a battle flag. There's a lot of other things that took place. I mean, you're from Georgia, why don't you put up a gold peach? Does it have to be a battle flag where other Americans were being killed? I mean, look, I have a difference of opinion on it, but I do believe the Confederate statues are participation trophies. You lost. I mean, at the end of the day, you lost. It is what it is. Looking in the comments, if Trump was so good, why didn't he win a second term? Joe Campos, cue up the stolen election. We can talk about it. Wow. Going back to the box, we'll keep the program moving on. We're going to go nuclear. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program. This guy can only go live in his car. Yikes, I suppose you didn't see the video after the State of the Union address when we were actually in the makeshift studio. Real quick, Biden and his whole administration is corrupt. They are as shady as they come, says Tony Sir. Well, they have to be brought up on charges. If Biden and his whole administration is corrupt, then time to call in the feds and get the job done. Real quick, got a loan from Elon Musk. Was that confirmed? User 5274 say you're suggesting that Trump got a loan from Elon Musk. Now, we know Trump is in deep doo-doo with these huge judgments being ordered against him. 83 point some odd million to E. Jean Carroll. Well, after a 5 million, so he really owes E. Jean Carroll like 90 million because she beat him twice. Letitia James, what was it, 335 million? And that shit is going up like millions of dollars every few weeks. I think he has to pay like 2.6 million per month in interest. So Chubbs, you see their name on the side of, these armored cars like Brinks trucks. Chubbs is another one of those big, wealthy organizations. They put up the bond for the E. Jean Carroll appeal. Now, they stated in the paperwork that they're not responsible for any other appeal or any other bond, obviously referencing the Letitia James case. So Trump met with Elon Musk, I think it was yesterday or this week. We know what that damn meeting was about. I mean, the guy's worth $149 million. It ain't about a freaking endorsement because Elon Musk has already endorsed Ron DeSantis before. So Elon Musk leans right. I mean, he may not endorse Trump, but if you endorse Ron DeSantis, you're not that far away. So Trump meeting with Elon Musk in private, we know what that's likely about. He was trying to get some money. Now, somebody in the comments said he already got a loan from Elon Musk. I don't know if that's true, but I feel confident that was part of the damn conversation. Going back to the box. I don't know what's happening. And Elon Musk might do it. I mean, he got 149 billion. Trump doesn't even need 1 billion. He could certainly do it. He certainly could. Pinche Vato Loco. This should be interesting. Always is. Pop Off Fat says, read my comments. I am reading your comments. Pinche, good afternoon.
What's happening, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing real good. I saw you've been listening in. I'll give you the floor.
Well, I mean, to me, it's like there's not much to say. So many people are just impossible to get through to.
So how do you feel about folks yelling out at the State of the Union address, Marjorie Taylor Greene wearing Trump gear and things like that? Do you think that's inappropriate at all?
Tim, it's all a show.
Is it inappropriate? Is it an inappropriate show?
They're actors on stage in costumes.
Is it inappropriate, though?
Was it inappropriate back in the days of Married with Children when Al Bundy would go off on the way he went off, and then did it grow onto us in a way that was okay?
We're talking the State of the Union address, Pinche. Let's not go to Al Bundy. We're talking the State of the Union address.
But it's a similarity that I'm using because it's the same ridiculousness and it's the same show as everything else.
So just to make sure I get clarity, was it inappropriate for what she did?
Define inappropriate.
Is that something you should do? Does that match the decor of the event?
Yes.
Okay. So that's the norm. Showing up with MAGA gear on and yelling out shit.
It's not a matter of a norm. It's a matter of ridiculousness of the fact that people are ignorant to everything that's on government websites that you can go look up for yourself, but people don't. Instead, they just listen to CNN and Fox and think that they know the truth. And the truth is not even close to what the people know.
Okay.
That's the problem.
Now, real
And
quick.
people refuse to believe what's so unbelievable because they think that we've been this free society of people for all these years, when in reality, tell me one thing you can do without a permit, a license. Give me one thing that's free. There's nothing. You can't.
You actually can now exercise your Second Amendment rights in a host of states without a permit or a license. So, how about that one?
If that's what you define as freedom, then that's a problem, because I define that as your human right to defend yourself. When everybody else got a gun and you got or a pew, excuse me, and you got a bow and arrow, are you going to win the fight?
Isn't freedom and human rights kind of the same thing? What are you talking about?
No, I disagree. I think freedom is something that was granted to people by slave masters. What you have to really use as the word freedom that you're trying to allude to is the word allodial.
Okay,
allodial is a freedom without ever being owned.
Okay, you're real quick on YouTube. Curtis Lux, I think I'm gonna say fucks. Curtis Lux, thank you for the super chat. Says, I want Trump, but don't believe in police indemnification. I don't quite get the end of that. Go ahead.
You were talking earlier about how is Trump going to lower crime rates.
Yes.
Okay, first of all, I believe he already has, through the military tribunals, the multiple military tribunals that you can look up for yourself if you'd like.
Explain. What do you mean? What do you mean? Elaborate on that. What kind of military tribunals did Trump do that lowered crime? Explain.
So, you can look it up for yourself on Congress.
I didn't listen. Wait. Pinche, hold on. Pinche, we're having a conversation. I'm not here to discuss things to you and your responses. Go look it up somewhere else. I wouldn't talk to you if that was. I'm asking you.
Listen to what I'm saying, Tim. Listen to what I'm saying. What I'm saying is for the people, so that the people could go look it up after I get done saying it.
All right.
And what I'm going to say is that there's a bunch of public officials, politicians, Congress people, Senate people, a lot of them that have already had tribunals. And it's not being publicized for the purpose of keeping from civil unrest.
What was the results? Give me some names and what was the results of these tribunals?
Many of them are no longer with us.
Give me some names.
Pelosi, Clinton, take your pick.
So Nancy Pelosi, due to this tribunal, you're saying is no longer with us.
Yes, she was found guilty of trying to have President Trump unalived.
Okay, and so
it's on the freaking government websites, so don't blame me for saying it. Okay. If all you people in the chat that like to make all your dumb comments.
When did this happen? Wait. Don't worry about the people. You and I having a conversation. When did this happen?
2021.
When?
2021.
So
2021.
So it happened in who was president? Because Trump had a month of 2021, and then the rest of the year was Biden. Who was president when Nancy Pelosi was taken out as a result of this tribunal?
See, this is what people are ignorant to. Who was president was that the government was split into two when Donald Trump wrote the Second Declaration of Independence.
Okay, so right now, who is president?
The military.
There's no one so there's.
You want to know who a commander-in-chief is? That's Trump.
Right now, Trump is president.
No, Trump is commander-in-chief.
Okay, so what is he running for?
Very big difference. It's a big difference, believe it or not.
Okay, so what is Trump holding these rallies? What is he actually running for?
He's running because he needs the vote so that he can finish taking out the corporation and restoring the republic.
So he needs.
That's what it's all about. It's about restoring the public. And don't get me wrong, it's not Trump. The whole thing is not run by Trump. It's run by our high-ranking military officials.
Wait. You said he needs the votes. What are they voting? He's already commander-in-chief, according to you. What are they voting for him to be?
Okay, when the president is voted in as president, he's not just the president of the United States. He's the president of the CEO of the corporation. If you look up USC hold on, I got it right here on my phone. I can literally bring it up for you. It's USC 28 something, 3002. I forget the exact code, but there's an actual universal commercial code that is the United States definition, and it's a federal corporation.
Okay, so
you understand that what it's defined as in law, okay, is the Washington, D.C. area. It's the 10-mile area of Washington, D.C. That's considered the United States by definition of law.
Okay. Now, you understand that some of the things you're saying is controversial. Nico D on YouTube, for instance, you driving my YouTube audience crazy, says this caller has not seen daylight in months. How do you respond to folks who say what you're saying sounds crazy? Okay. Unfortunately, and this is not uncommon, you know, folks, I run an uncensored program. As I say, left of Bernie Sanders, so we're having dinner with QAnon. My last caller was taking off the app. Now, I don't block, ban, or censor anyone. I don't believe in doing it. I'm a huge proponent of free speech. But I cannot control the TikTok gods. And unfortunately, my last caller, which is welcome on the program any day, anytime. We've talked numerous times. It does happen rather frequently with my last caller because he says things are pretty controversial, but you're welcome back on the program. Normally, I tell my guests if you get blocked or something to appeal it. I win a lot of appeals. His case, it's not going to happen because folks are going to get him for misinformation. But hey, look, I believe in letting the people speak. I make it clear we run an uncensored program. When I say left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having dinner with QAnon, if you've been sitting here for 10 to 15 minutes, you should understand that statement is damn sure correct. We let the people speak, but I can't control the censorship gods that rank above me. So it is what it is. Going back to the box, someone said, but damn, Tim, that was way the hell off. Big Nasty. Look, we can have a debate on anything, and somebody's going to think somebody's opinion is way the hell off. Look, I don't believe that Nancy Pelosi and Hillary Clinton were executed. No, I don't believe that. But he states it. I don't believe that Trump left us with a second Declaration of Independence. I've talked to him about it and asked him why the hell wouldn't Trump tell us that? He has reasons for why Trump would have written a second Declaration of Independence and deliberately not told anybody about it. I don't even know if that's possible, but anytime he's welcome back on the program. That guy was wacky. I finally stopped laughing, says, you guys are mean on both platforms. Wow, both YouTube and TikTok. You guys are eating my poor guy out alive. Crying about MAGA gear while hanging a MAGA hat on his stream. Who's crying at all, by the way? I don't think anybody's crying on the program. There's no crying in politics, to quote Tom Hanks. We'll keep it moving, though. Hydro 420. Hydro 420. We all know what that means. Good afternoon, Hydro.
Tim, how in the hell you been? It's been a while since I've been live with you. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing real good, and yourself?
I'm doing fine. I've just been sitting back and listening to some of the commentary and opinions and stuff.
Good.
I got a question for you.
Sure.
What did you personally think of the State of the Union address? Did you think, and I'm just asking this out there, did you think Biden was hyped up on something? Did they put him on drugs, or did they have him? Because I've never seen him that, wired. What do you think about that?
Well, I think that because Biden does not give a lot of speeches, it's hard to get a fix on what he is and what he is not. But I will say this, in my opinion, listening to whether it's Trump or folks who support Trump, MAGA, the opinion of Biden was so low. The bar was so low. It was easy for Biden to do better because they made it sound like he was like Muhammad Ali in his last days or something like that. Like he was just totally punch drunk. He couldn't string together a sentence, didn't know where the hell he's at. These are the phrases we hear all the time. It's pretty easy to exceed that type of explanation of you. If you had never seen Biden before, let's say you only hung around Trump or MAGA, and they're describing this guy named Joe Biden that you've never seen before, you don't know who he is, you've never seen any speech by him, you're just listening to their description, and then you watch the State of the Union address. Does that match what they're saying?
Oh, yeah, I get exactly what you're saying. Yeah. It doesn't.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, when you ask what did I think of the State of the Union address, my opinion is Biden knocked it out the park. Even if you disagree with all of the things he was suggesting for America, all he had to do was string together a sentence and act like he knew where he was at. And he did that with ease.
Yes, he did. He did, and I agree. And there's one other opinion I want to ask of you. Is what did you think of Marjorie Taylor Greene wearing the MAGA hat and almost getting thrown out?
I'm in the trenches on this one. I've been talking to guest after guest. A lot of folks on the right seem to think it's okay or it's par for the course after Nancy Pelosi tore up Trump's speech or whatever. I personally think it's really inappropriate to do that. I really do, because folks would suggest that nobody reaches across the aisle or anything like that, and we can't have unity, and Biden's not bringing us together. How the hell do you reach across the aisle and work with somebody like that? She's already wearing your opponent's face on her damn shirt or whatever the hell she had. How do you even work with somebody like that?
No, you don't. And you know, back in the day, you remember that show? Well, it still goes on. America's Got Talent. She was on that show, and she got booted off.
Really?
She had a chance to interview.
I did not know that. Wow. Marjorie Taylor Greene tried to get on America's Got Talent. Well, she's got Congress now.
Trying to audition for a singer, and she sang a song, and they just looked at her and said, yeah, no.
Well, she certainly found her calling in, because she's in a district that is so damn gerrymandered. She could literally be in Congress for the rest of her life. She's good. She'll be, I mean, and folks love her on the right because of those antics. So I don't think Marjorie Taylor Greene is going anywhere anytime soon.
No, I don't think so either. I agree with you.
Yeah.
The other point I wanted to bring up, which I noticed, is before the actual State of the Union address started, and Biden came out, both Democrat and Republicans, because they show the cameras in the room, and everybody was, Democrats and Republicans shaking each other's hand, patting each other on the back, acting like good old boys and all that stuff. And then, of course, once the State of the Union address started, there it was, left and right.
Yeah, this is where I bring up Trump, and folks say you got derangement syndrome or whatever. I do believe, even though Trump is not there, he's like the spirit that is orbiting over the room. And I think most of the folks on the right realized that there was only so much they could say or do without potentially facing the wrath of Trump and MAGA, such as the Speaker of the House sitting up there next to Kamala Harris, clearly agreeing with a hell of a lot of things Biden's saying, clapping in place. You could tell the guy was agreeing with. He's nodding his head yes, but it's obvious he's been told, keep your ass seated. You better not get your ass out of this seat. But he's still nodding. It's like playing your favorite song. You don't want to let the artist know you like the music, but you nod your head off like it's Dre up there. That's what he looked like.
Yep, exactly. There was times where he had that dumbfounded look on his face, a couple of eyebrow raises. But yeah, he was biting his tongue. I agree.
Yeah, so you got to give it up to Trump. He is a strong personality in regards to that party. That's his party.
So my other question to you is, knowing Donald Trump is well-to-do, I'm just going to leave it at that, well-to-do, and at his age, and he's no spring chicken. Right. In your mind, what is his motivation to keep going? Why doesn't he just retire and play golf and enjoy the rest of his life? I kind of got a question mark on that. What is his motivation?
Well, power is a lot of their motivation. If that's the case, why didn't Mitch McConnell or Nancy Pelosi or even Senator Dianne Feinstein, who literally died in office, power being number one, but in Trump's case, he has an additional issue, which is his own freedom. If Trump does not get reelected at this point, he possibly could go to jail, but he absolutely will lose a fortune in terms of cash. So his entire legacy is on the line at this point. He has more reason to run probably than any other president in our lifetime.
Do you think it's sort of like a euphoric feeling of having that control? It's euphoric.
I think they all run for that reason, but in Trump's case, I think there's more serious issues at play, such as what's going on in criminal court and things like that. He has a strong, which is why also he announced far earlier that he was running than anybody else did, because he really needs to win. He needs to win for himself. Now, he's suggesting that he needs to win to get this country back on track. Maybe so, but he needs to win for himself more than anything. So he has more reason to run than anybody we've ever seen.
I hear you. Well, Tim, I'm going to go ahead and bounce out of here. I just have one request, that anybody who sees me, maybe helps me out, gives me a follow. That's Hydro 420. We all know what that means. Tim, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you inviting me in. And I look forward to your next live cast.
All right. Appreciate it, Hydro. Anytime. I'll give you that follow when I get off. All right. Looking in the box. We'll continue the program on. 91 charges is the motivation. I believe it is. I really, witch hunt or not, call it what you want. But if he does not become president, all 91 of those charges are not going to go away. Not at this point, because Trump has made it personal. And a lot of them folks are looking at him personally as well. Plus, it makes a few careers to hang the guy. So some of it is political. I'm not going to pretend like it's not. But yeah, if he doesn't win, he's in a hell of a lot of trouble. Plus, his legacy is going to suck. I mean, he'll go down in history as twice impeached. He'll go down in history as potentially sparking an insurrection. He needs to win to correct some of that stuff. He'll go down in history as lying about an election. He needs to win to produce some kind of real evidence that people will say, no, he wasn't lying about the election. But right now, if he loses, he goes down in history looking really bad. Now, folks that support Trump will bring up, no, he won the election and they hid the evidence. But eventually, all of us will die off, and that's not going to stay as fact. It's no different than, let's say, I brought up the Confederates earlier. You know, folks, but the Civil War was not about slavery. I mean, folks are going to try to say or deliver the narrative they want to be out there. Once new generations come through, that ain't going to survive. And that's what's going to happen with the legacy of Trump. New generations come through are not going to, well, they were giving him hell from day one. That's why he has this whole wall of negative tweets at the Smithsonian. All of his stuff will be evidence for children in the future to read. Trump Presidential Library, all of that stuff will be available for kids doing book reports to read all of that horrible stuff. They never gave him a chance from day one. It's not going to go down in history with his legacy. It's going to be impeached. It's going to be 91 charges. First guy to have his home raided. The only president with a mugshot. That's going to be his legacy. And I'll tell you, if you favor $2 gas, how much was gas under Teddy Roosevelt? Or how much was gas under Nixon? Nobody remembers that. People remember when you get impeached or when you get arrested. His legacy is not going to be the things that folks favor him for. Economies come and go. We've had good economies. We've had bad economies. That comes and goes. Getting impeached twice does not happen very often. A former president actually with a mugshot, that doesn't happen. That's what he will be remembered for. $2 gas and no global conflicts, that's happened under a lot of presidents. He needs to get reelected to correct his legacy. Otherwise, he's going to go down in history in a really dark fashion. Going back to the box, we'll keep it moving. The one and only Takesha. Good afternoon. It's called prosecuting your political opponent. Perhaps, but someone say the same thing about yelling lock her up and being on stage saying if Hillary Clinton gets elected, she'd be in jail. He was also using the threat of prosecuting his political opponent. Just because he didn't do it doesn't mean he wasn't threatening. Takesha, good afternoon.
I just wanted to come up right quick, Tim, because I'm hoping my friend finna come rub on me. But listen,
okay.
They don't went. Listen, do you not find it funny? They have gone from dementia to Adderall.
Oh.
You can't say he got dementia no more because of how sharp he was with his speech. But now all of a sudden, since they can't use the dementia no more, Now the man hyped up on doggone Adderall.
I heard cocaine. I actually heard some folks say he was on cocaine.
What's gonna be next, Till? What's gonna be next?
Any excuse is better than none.
Just smoking the ganja. Next for Biden. My God.
Well,
I've been took it all day.
yeah, well, the fact is, I see somebody in the comments said he got his hands on Hunter Biden's stash. But that's the
It
thing.
probably was Don Jr.'s stash, because you know he had a sniffles every time he get on live, and his eyes be tighter than a virgin on her wedding night.
Oh.
So it probably came from Don Jr.
I don't know, Takesha. We in 2024. Virgins on wedding night don't really exist anymore. Unless
I'm telling you, it's still so.
okay, all right. Yeah, but the thing about it is, which is what I was telling my last caller, Hydro, is that they portray Biden as being so advanced in the state. Yeah,
Sleepy.
yeah, and when he gets up there at 9 o'clock and he delivers a 90-minute speech without going to sleep, you got to make up some new shit, because what he did.
Now he on Adderall.
Yeah.
And half of the people saying it don't even know what Adderall is. How about that? But back to the question that was, for the program. It was very inappropriate, and it was very disrespectful. And it was against the rules of the House floor. But because they scared of three toes, they just let her do whatever she want to do.
Wait, who is Three Toes?
You know Marjorie Taylor Greene don't have but three toes on one of her feet. She look like a camel by one of her feet.
Is that for real?
I promise you it is. She got three toes. And I ain't talking about a camel toe between her legs. I'm talking about a camel toe in her shoe. She got three toes on one of her feet.
Well, if you got a camel toe between your legs that has three toes, I want to know what that third toe. That's big. Is it really that big?
I'm saying she got camel toes in her shoes,
Okay.
not between her legs.
All right. No, but the only reason why I said I've never heard somebody refer to a camel toe between the legs as three toes. So what is that third toe in the middle? What the hell is that? That's pretty big.
Come on, Tim. We're playing. Stop playing, Tim.
I ain't never seen it that big. You kind of making me feel gay now. Okay, all right.
Tim. But listen, we all know Marjorie Taylor Greene don't care anything about the rules. She doesn't care anything about being appropriate. She can't even read numbers when she's looking dead at them in her face. So we've all come to the conclusion that they are not electing people who have common sense. They're not electing people who are mature, because anybody that thinks that she's hilarious with the things she's doing, holding the position she's holding, acting like a child in an adult's body, then that's the mentality and mindset that they have as well. She's a disgrace, and she's an embarrassment to the seat that she holds.
They love her.
She really is. So what we do is we really overlook her. We do like Biden. He looked at her like a deer in headlights and turned the other way. And that's how you have to treat her. You treat an idiot like an idiot, because that's what she is.
Well, she gonna be around for a long time, Takesha. She's in a good district.
Oh, yeah, because those people in her district, 75% of them didn't even get a high school diploma. So, yeah, they're going to keep voting her in because they think that she's got it going on.
Oh, my God.
And they don't even go to college in that district, so it's okay.
So I want to ask you a tough question. What's so bad about Trump getting reelected? What do you think? I mean, would you be willing to vote for the guy?
I wouldn't vote for Donald Trump if Joe Biden had to be rolled in on his deathbed, getting his last rites read. I wouldn't care if he could not speak and we had to use strings to control his hands to sign the bill. I would still vote for him over Donald Trump.
What is so bad about Trump? Folks favor the economy.
He is the great divider. And to me, because I am a very I read the Bible, and you can't tell me God doesn't exist. I don't care, no matter what you say. He has the spirit of the Antichrist, and I don't fool with that. He has the spirit of the Antichrist.
What makes you say that?
He's all about himself. He claims he has to have loyalty to him. He probably has pushed God off the throne, put him in the back of the seat, and he done sat down in his place. Trump is not. He has no fruit. That he's not bearing any good fruit.
So you're suggesting that wait. You're suggesting that Trump has put himself before God?
Yeah, he have. Anytime you say you never asked for forgiveness for that because you've never done anything wrong, you're saying you're perfect, and nobody's perfect but the Lord.
All right. Now, you mentioned that you see Trump as a great divider. Sam Pridey in the comments said Obama was the divider.
The only reason they say Obama was the great divider because he was black. And we're not going to keep saying that. You're saying he was the great divider because he was a black man, because he didn't do any more for blacks than he did for whites. So how did he divide us? Y'all just didn't like him because he was a black man with all that power. Now cut it out.
Are you
Stop
alluding?
the foolishness.
Are you suggesting that the dislike of Obama, rather, not Trump, but the dislike of Obama was due to racism?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So
Because tell them to name one thing he did that divided us, and they can't.
well, when he suggested that Trayvon Martin could be his son, folks are suggesting that
He
he
could
took.
have been.
Well, but they suggested that he took the side of Black Lives Matter over cops and over everybody else. He took sides in that event.
What he took the side of what it could have been his son. What did Trayvon Martin do to deserve what he got? And then after the idiot got off that did it, he kept going around acting a whole fool, selling the gun and all that stuff that he shot that child with. Come on, Tim. That could have been anybody's child. It could have been Obama's. It could have been Trump's. It could have been Biden's child. The fact remains that could have been any one of our child whose life was taken by somebody who just discriminated against him. That didn't cause division. What caused division was a black president that was popular, that got in there with no scandal, that they can't say nothing about him for real right now, Tim. And then he got 2 terms. And if he could have ran a third, he'd have got a third.
Well, there were some scandals during the Obama administration I could bring up, but what I want to, well, Fast and Furious, you had
Go back and go read about that Fast and Furious. Go read about it.
Benghazi?
Come on, let's be for real.
The IRS, using the IRS to go after opponents?
Let's be for real, Tim.
I'm just throwing some out there to play with. Okay, let me ask you this. I'm gonna give you a wild comment. You can have the floor with it, take it where you want.
You know how I do. Come on.
Okay, well, RB in the comments said you sound like Jesse Smollett.
RB.
Said you sound like Jesse Smollett, sister. That's what it says. You sound like Jesse Smollett, sister.
Smollett.
You know who that is, right?
Yeah, the one that did the faking.
Yes.
Like somebody texted.
In other words, you are wrongfully playing the race card when the Trump supporters are doing nothing to you.
First of all, I sound like Takesha Bowie because that's who I am. My name is not Jesse. I'm not a man. I'm a woman. I do not sound like Jesse Smollett. I sound like an educated woman who knows the truth between racism and fair and injustice. And apparently, because I told you, Tim, people don't see racism when it doesn't affect them.
True.
So apparently, the person that just said something to me doesn't have to deal with racism. So I'm going to need him to leave me alone.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to need him to go on.
Okay. All right, Takesha, I do got to move it on.
Stuff doesn't affect people that it doesn't affect, and I say that all the time. If you never have to deal with racism, if you've never dealt with racism, you don't see racism, and that's the problem with a lot of people in this country. They don't have to deal with it. They've never seen it because they don't have to face it, so they don't think it exists.
Well, in the words of the late Honorable Martin Luther King, all it takes for evil to persist is for good men to stand by and do nothing. Appreciate you coming through, Takesha.
Praise the Lord. But let me leave you with this.
Go.
The Bible says these words, and it's going to stand true because we see it happening. The last shall be first, and the first shall be last. Have a great day, Tim.
All right. Appreciate you coming through. Thank you, Takesha. Now, what the hell did I just made a mistake and ended the live on TikTok? Wow, I did not mean to do that. Okay, hang on a second. My other device, I ended the whole shit. All right, well, unfortunately, it is what it is. All right, I see somebody said, bye, Felicia, on YouTube, says Twitch. Big Mike, outlaw having a meltdown. What the hell does that mean? Outlaw having a meltdown. Good ouchie. Huh? I don't quite get that. But listen, folks, you know how the program is ran. It isn't ran in an uncensored format. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. Real quick, we are here Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. Central. Monday through Friday. Sometimes we happen on the weekend, so that's what's happening today. Do appreciate you folks that did smash the like button. Only a few of you, but understand if you do enjoy civilized dialogue from both sides of the aisle, without any issue with the host trying to block, ban, or censor anyone, because it's a free speech program, feel free to smash that like button. Drop a subscription if you will. We will be on here tomorrow. Outlaw popped his pen. No, I ended the program myself. No other. I hit the wrong button. No one ended the program. The program is capable of going live again, but no, I personally did it. I dropped the damn show myself. But nevertheless, what Trump did is so normal. Banks do this every year. Wait. Banks do this every day, year, decades. What a movie. Well, at the end of the day, if what he did is normal, he should win on appeal. I don't know if he will, though, because he also lost a tax evasion case to who's it? I'm about to say Takesha. Letitia James had beat him before. It just was not worth a lot of money, and it didn't make big news. But Trump had already lost a case with taxes, devaluating his properties in a manner so that he told them they were worth more when it was time to get a loan, and then stated they were worth less when it was time to pay taxes. Do other wealthy folks do that? Maybe you're right. Maybe what Trump did is not something other wealthy folks do, but in my opinion, us regular individuals who don't have these privileges and benefits, you should be upset. Even if Trump is getting hammered for something that another wealthy man would not, you should be angry that any wealthy man could get away with that, because you can't. That option doesn't exist to you. So when Trump suggests that he is a victim of a two-tier justice system, he's also benefiting from one. Fact is, Trump was in court sending out the address of the judge, talking about the judge's wife, sending out the address of the clerk, even if he was getting completely railroaded, even if that case was total bullshit. You or I couldn't get away with doing that. That's the two-tier justice system. He was enjoying some privilege. You couldn't go to court, even if the case, you wouldn't get away with tweeting out the judge's address and talking about his wife. Why should Trump? So I get the point that folks might suggest that Trump is a victim of a two-tier justice system, but understand he's also benefiting from it too. He got away with things that you or I would not get away with. He was able to go to court and disrespect the hell out of the judge with zero consequences, other than the fact that probably is the reason why they ordered him to pay the max. But you or I would have done time in jail for that. You or I would have done time in jail for contempt if we done the same thing Trump did. Yeah, I wish I could get a $500 million loan for 2%. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. So I'm not here to pretend like some of the stuff that Trump is dealing with isn't political. I do believe that if you talk shit about a bunch of people, you may face charges that you don't deserve. I agree that it may be political, but I also understand that how he was treated in court would not be afforded to you or me. So both ways. He got away with some shit too. Ask because your tongue is going too slow. I don't know what that means. My ex-wife could figure out how to turn a warm compliment into a hateful criticism. Not because that's what it is or what it was, but because that's always what she expected. Look, if the notion is that Trump's words are being turned to mean something that they're not, look, the man said, if you take a knee, get that son of a bitch off the field. You're telling me we misinterpreting that? That's not really an insult? That's a compliment that's being misinterpreted because it's Trump? Now, Trump was saying some pretty bad shit. I mean, maybe some of his words are being misinterpreted. I'll give you that. But a lot of it, the stuff that Trump is saying, can be taken at face value. I mean, he's calling Nikki Haley bird brain. Is that actually a compliment? Did he really mean that as a term of endearment? Ron DeSanctimonious, Sleepy Joe Biden, Nervous Nancy, Crazy Bernie, Lion Ted Cruz, all of these are compliments, huh? People are just taking his words out of context. Look, you can make a point that you favor the presidency. There are legitimate reasons to favor Trump over Biden, and vice versa. But there is no legitimate point to be made in suggesting that Trump was really not saying anything about anybody. And they were just misinterpreting his words. No, he was insulting the hell out of people. I mean, he was doing it a lot. He was doing it a lot. And that's why a lot of folks are after him personally. I mean, my war heroes don't get captured. Nobody's being insulted, huh? General Milley is the most overrated general in U.S. history. Not an insult to anybody, huh? Just being misinterpreted. No, I don't think you're going to get away with that. Ice Cube, I love, but he does strike me as a little conspiracy bird-brained. Look, what makes it particularly concerning with calling Nikki Haley a bird brain is that you appointed her ambassador. You appoint these folks to these very high positions, whether it's Attorney General Barr, Vice President Pence, and then you're later on saying they're dumb as fuck. What does that say about your ability to appoint? That you're appointing people that you think are a danger to the country. Why are you giving them all jobs? Is there any point in this where Trump should be held accountable for making bad appointment after bad appointment after bad appointment? Or is he perhaps attacking folks that don't deserve it? The last call you had was a danger to the country, says Outlaw Josie. Well, that was Takesha. She is a regular caller to the program. What about the caller that suggested that Nancy Pelosi and Hillary Clinton have been executed already? You didn't see that one, huh? I'm a Trump supporter and been a huge fan of his since the 80s. But his biggest issue is his filterless mouth. Yeah. It really is. It really is. I agree with you totally. I do believe that simply if you look at what Trump did while president and you take away all the tweets and things like that, I think he was worthy of a second term. Minus his handling of the pandemic. Take the first 3 years of Trump's term. I don't think it was that bad that he didn't deserve to get reelected. But yeah, the mouth, the tweets, the insults, telling people what I say is so bad, I want you to ignore it and only pay attention to what I do while I'm in office. No, not going to happen. Not going to happen. Why should Trump have to be perfect? Why such a high standard? Have you heard some racist Biden quotes? Never heard racist Trump quotes. Really? A judge cannot adjudicate my case because he's a Mexican. That's a Trump quote. Not racist at all, huh? I want a total and complete ban on all Muslims entering the country until Congress figures out what the hell is going on. Not a racist quote, huh? They're going to actually sympathize with my campaign because I got a mugshot. Because I got 91 indictments, just like they do. Look, but if you can see vote for me and you ain't black is racist, but all of that stuff is okay, I'm going to suggest you're biased. I'm just going to look at it that way. Stop and frisk, Central Park 5, lawsuits suggesting he wouldn't rent to colored people. Not a single racist quote on it. They're just making it all up. You can like Trump. There are legitimate reasons to vote for Trump, in my humble opinion. But that don't mean you just ignore shit. Folks view George Washington as one of the best presidents in U.S. history. He was racist as hell. He's making money off of slaves. You don't have to be post-racial to qualify as a great president. But the idea that Trump hasn't made a single racist quote is insane. It's insane, particularly if you're holding Biden accountable for vote for me and you ain't black. Trump has said a lot of racially suspicious shit. Now, I'm assuming we're going to discredit his former attorney, Michael Cohen, because he stated that when Trump was in Chicago, he said only black people could live like this. How many members of Trump's own administration, Omarosa, Scaramucci, that have publicly stated he's a racist? Nothing at all, huh? People just making it up. Look, Trump may appear to be the best president we've had in U.S. history, in your opinion. I'm not taking that away from you. But there's a lot of folks in his orbit that are throwing the racism claim around that used to be friends of his for so long. Are you just supposed to ignore that? People who know him intimately, are you just supposed to ignore that? I don't know if he's racist or not. I'm judging the guy from just like you guys are. But I'm telling you, when folks are hanging around you and they keep walking away saying this shit, it does raise some eyebrows. And there's a lot of folks that have hung around Trump. In fact, Trump served 2017 until Biden was inaugurated in 2021, January 2021. Is there a single member of Trump's administration that is endorsing him for president now? Out of all of the folks that served under him, Ambassador Bolton, Scaramucci, I mentioned Omarosa, fucking Spicer, is there anyone from his actual administration that's endorsing him for president? Are we supposed to ignore that? It's not making up stuff. I'm asking a question. Not making up anything negative about Trump. I'm asking folks that he appointed that served to protect this nation honorably under his administration. None of them are supporting him for a second go round. Why is that? Are they all getting it wrong? His whole administration. None of them are supporting him for a second term. Why is that? And if they are some kind of cowards or traitors or whatever you want to name, fill in the blank, why the hell did he appoint them? Does his hiring decisions get ignored? You're hiring a bunch of treasonous traitors, never Trump. You're hiring these people. Your job was to drain the swamp, not appoint them to some of the highest positions in the nation. Does he get a pass for that? Is the $2 gas really that attractive? Does he get a pass for that? Is that a legitimate question to ask, or should our love for Trump put us in a position where you don't question shit? Whatever he does, you favor that. Even if it's something you know you would criticize someone else doing. He's made a bunch of bad appointments. According to him, he's made a bad appointment here, 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 and here. Are you supposed to ignore that? In the comments, he did, Tim, go research what that guy told you to look at. He told me to look up Trump putting up a second Declaration of Independence. He told me that Trump oversaw a military tribunal that resulted in the execution of Nancy Pelosi and Hillary Clinton. Are you telling me to look that up? Are you telling me that Nancy Pelosi and Hillary Clinton, as he stated, are no longer with us? Is that what you're suggesting? He will be president. That's possible. Taryn, that is possible. Bolton and Pompeo, national security state assets. Then why did he appoint them to office? Why is he appointing people and then coming back and saying they're bad? What happens in the vetting process? Remember, we want Trump in office to make sure immigrants are properly vetted. We don't want anybody in this country. But it sounds like when he was president, he was letting anybody run the damn nation. He doesn't sound like he was vetting his own cabinet. This is the guy that's going to vet illegal immigrants. Is it wrong to question that? Like I stated, you can like Trump, but does that mean you have to ignore things that don't make sense? Biden knocked it out the park at the State of the Union address, yeah? Can't wait to vote against Trump, says, I can't pronounce the name there. The left makes it a witch hunt when it doesn't need to be. Trump doing enough on his own. Yikes. They were cloaked. He didn't know that he didn't, wait a minute. They were cloaked. He didn't know that he didn't know about the deep state. Then why the hell is he president? What you're doing is suggesting that Trump was incompetent. He was ignorant. He didn't know how deep the swamp was. He didn't know about the deep state. Then why go around talking about it? Didn't our moms tell us not to talk about shit we don't know? You're telling me Trump failed and appointed so many bad people because he was ignorant. He didn't know how deep the swamp was. He didn't know about the deep state. He sure went around talking about it a lot. So in other words, if you attended rallies and listened to what he said back then, it was all wrong because he didn't know what he was talking about, according to your comment. That's worth bringing up. Nobody voted for Biden, only against Trump, says Jonathan Young. Thank you for the super chat, Jonathan. You are right. I believe you are right. And I use that statement, your very statement, anytime someone asks, how the hell did Biden get more votes than Obama? No way in hell he got 80 million votes. Your statement is what I often say. Biden didn't get a single vote damn near. It's all anti-Trump votes. If you looked at the 2020 election, there were 3 boxes on that election. You only saw 2. You saw the box, you could vote for Trump. You saw the other box, you could vote for Biden. There was a 3rd imaginary box on that last election. That box would have read, I'm not a big fan of Biden, but I damn sure don't want Trump to be president. That's the 3rd imaginary box that was on the last election. Because that box didn't exist in reality, anyone that would have checked it, their votes went to Biden by default. And there are millions of folks, tens of millions of folks that would have checked that box had it been on the last election. I'm not a big fan of Biden, but I sure as hell don't want Trump. Millions of people would have checked that box. But because it wasn't there, the vote went to Biden by default. That is your 80 million votes. That is why Biden got so many votes. He won the votes from that box. CJ Jones, thank you for the super chat. And we'll vote against Trump again, says CJ Jones. There will be a lot of that. There will be a lot of that. I don't know if it's going to be enough to prevent him from being president, but there's a huge anti-Trump sentiment in this country. But the border is creating one for Biden. The border is creating an anti-Biden sentiment as well. Biden is better undoubtedly, says Gabo Samar Land. Undoubtedly, huh? Wow. Okay. All right. Trump is pro-trans now. No, he's not. Maybe there's a joke in there somewhere, but Trump is not pro-trans. Biden only talked about helping foreigners. His job is Americans. Well, the CHIPS Act, infrastructure bill, tuition forgiveness. He's responsible for universal health care. Biden has done a lot for Americans. We may have not given him credit for it, but everything I just named predominantly helps out Americans, whether we want to agree or not. Trans MAGA is real. It's real funny. What's up, dog? Tell your audience that you don't have to like a president to vote for them. Just know that he can make the country better. That is true. You don't have to like a president to vote for them. Joe Biden is a perfect recipient of that. 28 likes. I don't know who smashed the like button, but thank you folks for doing that. This is the kind of program we run, so I do appreciate those who are smashing the like button. Joe Biden is a perfect example of you don't have to like a president to vote for them. I personally believe, despite his inflammatory rhetoric, most of the folks voting for Trump do like him. I think there is a significant portion of MAGA in general that like Trump being hard on liberals. And I'm talking about the name calling, the insults. They want that. Because if you didn't want that, you could vote for Vivek or Ron DeSantis and get the same policies you would have out of Trump. Trump is not going to do much for America policy-wise that you wouldn't get out of Vivek Ramaswamy or Ron DeSantis. But the difference is he's going to insult and tweet. Ron DeSantis, and to a lesser degree, Vivek Ramaswamy is not going to do that. And I do believe MAGA likes that. They want that. They enjoy that. So they're going to go with Trump. They're going to go with Trump. That's what I tell everybody. Do your homework. Don't believe what you hear on TV or your friends say, do your own homework. Yeah, but you got to be cautious about doing your homework because if you get the wrong teacher, the homework you're learning may be skewed. I mean, if you do your homework at MSNBC, where Al Sharpton is on television, or you tuned in to PragerU or the Epoch Times, and you're doing your homework there, you're not getting honest lessons. I mean, some folks are biased. I mean, how many folks would suggest the Civil War had nothing to do with slavery? I mean, that's not good homework. Depends on where you're getting your lessons from. He killed the State of the Union. I think that when it comes to judging Biden with the State of the Union address, yeah, I think it's hard to deny he did not exceed expectations, because thanks to Trump, expectations were unrealistically low. Trump overdid it, and by way of his supporters as well, trying to suggest that Biden was off his noodle and did not even know where the hell he was. It wasn't hard for Biden to go out there and knock it out the park when Trump is up there telling people he can't string together two sentences. So yeah, the judgment of Biden at the State of the Union address is pretty obvious that he's way better cognitively than Trump is stating. He is way better than that. And Trump made it easy. Trump made it easy for him by doing it. Biden couldn't be better than anything other than snoozing and mumbling. Well, he didn't do either at the State of the Union address. Look, in my opinion, if you're going to attack Biden, stick with the policy, stick with the border, stick with the economy. The cognitive decline stuff, I think the State of the Union address smashed that. Folks realize that even if he is declining, it's that even if Biden is in mental decline, it's pretty obvious at this point that MAGA is overstating that significantly. It's obvious that MAGA is lying about Biden's state to make a political point. Even if Biden is in some form of mental decline, it's nowhere near as strong as MAGA, and particularly Trump, is saying. The State of the Union had just proved that, which is why they're now switching to where he was angry, he was hyped up, he was on cocaine, he used meth, whatever you can use to literally offset the fact that what we said, people realized that didn't happen. So let's make up something. You know, he has dementia, but for some reason, it turned off at 8 p.m. Central in the middle of the State of the Union address, and he can control it. That's ridiculous. He's not as screwed up mentally as folks have been stating. It's as simple as that. The State of the Union address was scripted. All he had to do is read. If he has to think on his own, he can't do it. Can a person with advanced dementia, can they even read properly off a cue card? Now remember, Biden didn't just read though. When Republicans booed him, he did quite well improving. He dealt with actual events that were happening that were unplanned at the moment. He did more than just read. I mean, like I said, stick with the economy, stick with the border bungle. This dementia shit ain't going nowhere. I think people can see that. I think people are smart enough to tell he might be in early stages of something, but he ain't all whacked out like Trump supporters are saying. If he can get up there for 90 minutes and do that, the whole theory is thrown out of the water. It's just not. Ignore the rest, right? Well, yeah. There is ignoring things is what's been happening. I don't hear anybody on the right complaining about Trump suggesting that folks during the Civil War were defending airports some 100 years before the invention of the airplane. It came and went. Nobody talked about it. Trump did that. Confusing Nancy Pelosi and Nikki Haley. It came and went. Nobody cared. Confusing Obama with Biden often. Arriving in Sioux City, Iowa, and claiming you were in some other town. I mean, Trump makes bumbles and gaffes as well. So when you say, well, should we ignore it? That is exactly what we're doing. We're ignoring it when it comes from Trump and paying attention to it when it comes from Biden. I'm giving you several gaffes from Trump off of my head. There are more, lots more. So both of these men do that. But when Biden does it, it's because he got some kind of mental illness. When Trump does it, we just make up had somebody tell me that Obama is controlling the strings of Biden. Biden's a puppet for Obama. That's why Trump is confusing the two. Just make up a reason for Trump's bumbles and hold Biden accountable. That's what's happening. They both are doing this stuff, folks. Biden apparently far more, but to some degree, is likely because when Biden makes a gaffe, the Republicans play it in a loop, and the Democrats talk about it too. When Trump makes a gaffe, it appears on some Democratic networks, and the Republicans completely ignore it. So it looks like the difference between these two is in another universe when it actually might be a little closer than that. Because the folks on the right are ignoring Trump's gaffes. They're ignoring them. Do you think African Americans can create their own party? And if so, how would you do it? DeMario Hill, there's not enough African Americans in this country to create their own party with any success. Maybe at the lower levels. I mean, most of the major metropolitan urban areas in America are headed by African American politicians. Chicago, New York, Houston, LA. I mean, most of the major cities in this country have black mayors. Detroit. So blacks do a lot politically, but it's at the lower level. Nationally, there's not enough blacks nationally to create their own party and start winning elections at that level, unless they don't just cater to blacks. Can do it that way. But if you're getting up there, you're promoting African American issues and ideals, and you're not paying attention to the rest of the country, Black Lives Matter, reparations, and things like that, no, it wouldn't go very far. But like I said, if you do it at the state level, certainly if you do it at the city level, yeah, you can go a long way. So it's not something that I would advise against. I'm just simply saying nationally, I think we're 13 to 16% of the population. So it is what it is. And by the way, that is why I believe folks on the right, talking about the Republicans, you don't really see a lot of attention to African Americans. You don't need them. You can win a presidential election without really getting the black vote at all. I think Trump, 80% of black men voted against Trump in 2020. 80%. Black women, 91% of black women did not vote for Trump in 2020. Yet he still was very competitive in that election. 91%. Even now, I'm sure most of you folks see African Americans all over social media, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, supporting Trump. Plenty of black people support Trump. Black women, you don't see many of them at all. You don't see many black women, 91%. Candace Owens don't have a lot of clothes out there. Diamond and Silk, well, one of them is dead, but they don't have the black women vote, 91%. And that was before Roe v. Wade got rolled back. So nationally, not enough of us. Where are you getting your information from? Google it. Bing it. Well, DuckDuckGoose, whatever search platform you use, look it up. What percentage of black women, of black men, voted for Trump in 2020? Google it, look it up. Look it up. Looking at 25% of black Americans support Trump, which is high. I don't believe that's accurate. I don't believe it's anywhere near accurate. Let's say 50%, because the black women vote is almost non-existent for Trump. It's a lot of black men that support Trump. If 50% of black men supported Trump, 50% of the men, his vote is, I think it would be somewhere near 25%. But it's not. It's nowhere near 50%. And the women vote, as I just stated, 91% of them went for Biden. So, no, it's not. That's nowhere near 25%. And like I stated, that was before Roe v. Wade got rolled back. I think his support in the African-American community is going to be lower. Now, the border in cities like New York, Chicago, where they're dealing with a bunch of immigrants may help Trump out. But a lot of U.S. cities are not dealing with immigrant issues. A lot of U.S. cities don't have immigrants laying all over the place that have black people. So, I don't think Trump's going to come anywhere near 25% in November. If I'm wrong, I'll certainly come on here and tell you all day I fucked up, but I don't think it's going to happen. I'm a conservative, Ryan, and your left is liberal. Oh, you talking about somebody in the comments. Your family is the one making the meth. Okay. It was passed to defend ourselves from, okay, so you guys are talking in the comments among yourselves. The true majority is the 3DR party and non-voters, as we are 45%. That's actually concerning. If most Americans above 18, the largest party is non-voters. That may be, I don't know. I don't know if that's true. Are there more adults over the age of 18 that do not vote than that do? I don't think that's true. Now, certain age groups, maybe so. 18 to 25 is the age group we're very little concerned with politics. In that age group, that's probably true. Seniors, 60 to 70 years of age, they vote. It's certainly more voters in that group than not. So depends on the age group. You could be right. I've asked you a direct question. You just won't answer it, just like a liberal. And of course, the comment I read of yours don't have shit in it that I can do anything with. We run an uncensored program here. The fact that I'm a liberal don't mean shit. I don't run from any of your comments, even the ones that tell me I ain't shit. That's the purpose of the program, is uncensored dialogue between both sides. As opposed to typing in something like that is absolutely useless. I'd rather you tell me why I ain't shit. Feel free to retype your comment. You're welcome anytime. Man scared to acknowledge the allegations of Clayton Bigsby. Why? It's an opinion. It's an opinion. A lot of folks see the hat, listen to no conversation at all. Just see the hat. He's a Trump supporter. He's a sellout. He's Uncle Ruckus. He said Clayton Bigsby. Don't listen to any of the dialogue. Because if they listen to the dialogue, they'd realize and never make that statement at all. But that's what happens when you get folks that come to the program and voice an opinion based on what they see and use their ears not one damn bit. Everyone on the program knows the politics of the host. We talk about it all the time. It's folks like that watch the program for 2 seconds and make an opinion. Do you have a different opinion on the war in Ukraine versus Israel? Yes, I do. I don't believe Israel's attack was justified. I understand it. We wouldn't want a Soviet Union ally on our border. If Canada or Mexico was flirting with the Soviet Union, we would have a problem with that. Just look at what happened with the Cuban Missile Crisis. Cuba was affiliating with the Soviet Union. We were about to go to war for that. So I understand it. That don't mean it's right, though. That doesn't mean it's right. You cannot tell a sovereign nation who they can ally with. If the Ukraine wants to be a member of NATO, you can't just attack them for doing that. Why are they afraid of you? Maybe you're mistreating them is why they are looking towards NATO. Maybe it's something about the way you're acting. You can't attack a sovereign nation because you don't like who they ally with. America was about to do that under Kennedy with Cuba. I don't back either one. But Israel, on the other hand, they were victimized on October 7th. But Israel has a lengthy history of mistreating Palestinians. So I don't view Israel at the same level of victimhood as I do the Ukrainians. The Ukrainians are genuinely in danger of being wiped off the map by Russia. And they didn't do anything to provoke that. Israel, before October 7th, was greatly mistreating the Palestinians. And it's a documented history of that. I mean, they've been complaining about that shit most of our lifetime, that Israel is treating them like an open-air prison. That don't mean you go in the country and murder a bunch of people and rape a bunch of women. I'm not defending what happened on October 7th. But Israel is not the victims like Ukraine are. They just aren't, in my opinion. Some of you folks may view what I'm saying is wrong. All right, fair enough. Is it crazy to compare Palestine as a kind of jail that Israel controls? No, it's not. That's the point I'm making. Is that even though what happened on October 7th was wrong, in my opinion, Israel was treating the folks in Gaza like an open-air prison. Yeah, they control everything. The ports, no airports, they control how much you can fish, how much you, I mean, they controlled everything for the Palestinians. Yeah, like a prison. No passport, so they can't leave the region anytime they want. They had no freedom. They were treated like a subset of the Jewish population. Yeah, I agree with that. The real point is, in the New World Order is trying to make the whole world an open air prison. I don't know what to do with that. I don't agree with that. Zelensky should stop killing Russian-speaking Ukrainians. Listen, I've had Ukrainians on the program. I have not heard any Ukrainian come on the program and suggest that. In fact, the former president of Ukraine, before Zelensky came in power, was very corrupt. But the people favor Zelensky. They certainly favor him now because he's trying to save their nation from being wiped out. But no, Zelensky is nowhere near as corrupt as folks on the right are suggesting. I'll give you this. Notice how all of our allies are in favor of protecting the Ukraine. In America, we have a political scale. If you start left, progressives, Democrats, liberals, moderates, independents, libertarians, conservatives, Republicans, MAGA. That's the whole damn scale. Tea Party is over there to the right as well. That's the whole damn scale. Only MAGA. Out of that whole scale, only MAGA does not want to support the Ukrainians. The whole scale, from Republicans all the way over to progressives, believe that the Ukrainians should continue to receive assistance from the United States. All of our allies, not one single ally, all of NATO believes that the Ukrainians should continue to receive help. That's a fact. That's not being made up. When they ran for president, all 9 of those Republican presidential contenders, when asked, if you became president, would you continue supporting the Ukraine? They all said yes. Vivek Ramaswamy, some might argue is Trump light, was a bit hesitant, but they all said they would continue supporting Ukraine. The only entity is Trump and MAGA. Everyone else believes you should support the Ukraine. Are they all getting it wrong? So I'm going to leave it at that. Nevertheless, folks, appreciate you guys remaining tuned in, even though I didn't have an actual callers because my TikTok portion went down quite a bit ago, which is good. I'm actually quite pleased that you guys hung around, even though it's just me bloviating at this point, because a lot of you guys have some really interesting comments. I think Ramaswamy is a puppet. Yikes, really? I disagree with you. Zelensky is the most corrupt. John Brown, then you don't just disagree with me, you disagree with everybody else I just stated. The whole damn political spectrum minus MAGA. You disagree with all of NATO. There's not one NATO member country that thinks the Ukrainians should be left to their own devices. The entire whole of NATO. It is MAGA, Trump, and that is it. It's the only group that believes you should leave them to their own devices. Bro, loving this show. Man, the first time I'm hooked. CJ Jones, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for your support. By the way, Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. Central, we're on here. We do a show a couple hours a day. We take callers. Right now, my TikTok portion is down. So you're not here. You're hearing just yours truly. But I do appreciate you folks tuning in. That is how the show is ran. As I always say, the show is ran in an uncensored format. We do not block, ban, or censor anyone. You will hear opinions from all sides of the aisle without any concern of the host blocking, banning, or censoring the program. I am a huge proponent of free speech. So understand when you're on the program, you're going to hear it left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having dinner with QAnon. That is what you prefer. That is what you like. Civilized dialogue from both sides of the aisle. Subscribe to the program. Monday through Friday, it's your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. Catch you guys tomorrow.